It's me. Hey. No applause today. We're just getting right into it. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Sorry, camera's messed up. Hi. Good to see you all. Sorry, I'm a little bit quiet. Is that better? Hey, everybody. What up? What up? How's it going? Welcome in. It's Monday, which means we got a whole bunch of talking to do. At least I think that's what we're doing. Usually we talk on Mondays. Sometimes the game cannot wait to be played, but I think if anything, Star Citizen has shown us these days that, you know, it's willing to spread its legs a little bit, have a little bit of outdoor time, go touch some grass, not always be at the computer because the computer's been treating it a little bit rough lately. Welcome in, everybody. How you doing? Twitch popping off today. I love to see it. The dancing was truly something special to see. It just looks like a cascade of flowing movement on my screen, so I enjoy it. PK, good to see you, dude. Bass and Space Guy, welcome in. Twitch. Zoster, hey man. AAK, good to see you. Orphas. How'd all your weekends go? Did it go or did it come? That's not God, I'm already starting off bad today, huh? What's up, Juke? Good to see you, man. My man Abs in the chat, Tentacle Love in the chat, Astro Monkey in the chat. Hello, everybody. Matt, Sully, Bolton, Andy, Fola. Am I quitting Star Citizen? It's over. Been stepping out with that young hottie Civ. I've actually got some things to say about Civ before we get started on space stuff today. We'll talk about historical stuff too, because me and Mrs. Tomato just had a decent amount of Civ time over the weekend, and I've got thoughts. Bolton, it wasn't long enough weekend, dude. It never is. It never is. Even if the weekend is extended, the weekdays will come knock on your door and be like, "Hey, we're here prematurely." You and your relaxation. That's what they say. PK, you're sick at home? Ah, man. Oh, no, sorry, that's Warfas. You guys have the same colored name. We needed a permanent weekend. then we'd just be working on the weekends. No, there's always going to be a way. It's like when like Apple or Samsung comes out with a new phone and they're like, "How's the volume on this, by the way? Is it still messed up every time I switch this?" It's like if Apple or Samsung or OnePlus or somebody comes out with a new phone and they're like, "Yeah, we've optimized the battery using gallium nitride substances to extremely increase your battery allowance." And then you're like, "Oh, that's great, really cool." And then you get the phone and they just put like a brighter screen on it so it gets the same battery life. Love that. Sound is good. Okay. It's a very weird segue. Might have been a strange metaphor, but we're gonna roll with it. Whoa, dude, Baltzin, the weekly blessing, my man. Thank you so much. Is that? Oh, I thought my phone was on the ground.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate you, buddy. It really means a lot. Thank you so much for the support, and I know I keep saying this.
Thank you.
I know I've said this every day of the last week, but folks, I promise you that that supporter exclusive is coming out, and oh boy. I mean, I'm biased, so I won't hype it up, but look out for it if you just got a membership from Bolton and give him a little thank you. We talking about the maintenance today? Is there maintenance today?
Thank you very much.
We can talk about PK. Freaking matching the efforts. Hold on a second. Wait a second. Pretty sure we got a Toes Gang board up in here now. Lift up. Sorry, Trouty. Trouty boy, we appreciate you from the last time. We got to make room for my man.
You get us up.
I feel like we could use a bigger eraser.
You do have one. I don't know where it is.
It's like a little pen eraser. There we go. You can write better than I can. Yeah, so Civ 7. Oh, there was maintenance. It ended. Okay. Civ 7 is Thank you very much. Oh, an anonymous gifter. Y'all don't want me to talk about Civ 7, huh? Thank you to whoever you are, anonymous gifter. You just put anon on there. And Maverick with the bits, my man. Maverick is always real bitty in chat. Civilization 7 is pretty cool. I'm loving the gameplay. But the UI is fucking awful. It sounds like a sad party.
We got the new alerts. This is my way of celebrating.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. I like that. Just keep that there. Yeah, Civ 7 it's got some really cool game mechanics going on, and it makes me, I think my favorite thing about it is I've always wanted trade to be deeper in Civilization, and I didn't know how exactly they could do that. And instead of going and making trade deeper in 7, they created easier trade systems. So when you're creating your cities, you can have like one main city, and then you can make your other cities around it. But those cities don't start as cities, they start as towns. And when a city is a town, it is solely focused on either growth or generating a resource. And you can have that resource strategically sent back to a specific city. So if you got like your hub city, say your metropolis, you can have small towns around it that don't take up as much as your time to navigate and use, but they feed back into your larger city, and you can strategize through that. And it's basically a trade system through resources. And that has really, that's been really exciting for me in Civ 7. But besides that, it just feels like it's more segmented. It feels like something that's not going to get kind of old and repetitive as I get into the late age, which is something that I deal with a lot. Yeah, I honestly kind of wish that I had a channel where it would make sense to put out a Civ 7 review, because loving the gameplay. Kind of like the old versions where you got cities from outposts, but now you could instead get resources. Yeah, you pull the resources from the cities and you can direct them where you want them to go. I like it. But it's definitely an unfinished game. They released Civ 7 not complete, and it's really annoying because that is very much, it's typical. I mean, literally the games we're going to go over today, No Man's Sky and Star Citizen being the chief among them, are notorious for their unfinishedness. Now, No Man's Sky has obviously made some real big strides in remedying that, and holy crap, what a game they've created since then. But Star Citizen, we know all about unfinished games. Mod it? Yeah, I mean, mods can always fix it, but screw mods being an excuse for releasing unfinished games. What, are we going to normalize the Bethesda model? No Man's Sky paved the way for unfinished releases. Could they pave the way for what to do after you do that, though? Like, City Skylines, if they followed the No Man's Sky model, would have been fixed by now. Okay. Let's get into today's topic anyways. Enough ranting from me. You guys came here for some space games, I think. Assuming, if you came looking at the topic that was in the title. If not, I don't know why you're here, but I appreciate it. Let's talk about Star Citizen first. What is going on in this game? I wish this came out a little bit earlier in the day so we could go over this during these Monday streams. It says 2:30 p.m. What is that? UTC? Because it's already past 2:30 UTC, I'm pretty sure. Maybe this is like in Austin? Are they the ones who are publishing? Join GII. Well, let's take a look at what's going on in Star Citizen in general right now, because it is... I mean, you don't need me to tell you what it is. 10 p.m. UTC. No way, it's like 6, no? All right, let's see what's going on in terms of dev discussion around the community right now. We all know that like they're going through their whole thing of getting their stability in order. They want to clean up their delivery schedule, and they want to go to monthly updates, right? They want to somehow, I don't even know how. We talked about this on the podcast a little bit. They want to go from quarterly releases to monthly releases. Now, the quarterly releases were quarterly because they've included so much stuff in them. These monthly releases are supposed to be smaller. They're supposed to not contain new features generally. They're supposed to just be content. And they will be largely focused on stability. The biggest thing, hold on a second, I could probably pull up. The biggest thing that I think we should pay attention to, though, is that features and content is like it depends on who you're talking to. So I had this thread from over the weekend, which caused, God, so many pings. The Zero State made a comment here, and I don't even, where is it? Where'd it go? Is it gone? Jared replied, and he had some clarifying statements about what content is. And to be quite honest, I don't even, maybe that thread is gone. Wait. Okay. I think I was on the wrong one. Here we go. Yeah. So Jared comes in and he actually makes a comment about this. He says that we're picking stability over features because it was features that kept us from stabilizing. All the content people are still on content. And then clarifies a little bit further and says, so an outpost, spaceship, or event is content. New gameplay like resource management, crafting, and base building are features. I went over that in the podcast too, but I think it's important to keep that in mind. Content might be something different than we're thinking. Like a whole storyline is content, right? So if they created an entire storyline that followed Hurston Dynamics and they released a new part of that storyline every month for the whole year, that would be a pretty big addition to the game. And I don't think that's the kind of thing that people are expecting. I don't expect that. That's pretty heavy. But that's just, I think, indicative of the idea that we can get stuff that I think people aren't necessarily hearing in general. They're just hearing stability and bug fixes, and not that there will still be some additions there. That being said, though, toes. 5:30 UTC right now. Oh, I see. This week in Star Citizen is around 9 to 10 UTC. So late. Basically asleep by then. And I'm in California. Juke, thanks for the bits, dude. All right. What do we got here? Pyro update, survey rewards, most impactful bugs. So this is a big thing that they're doing, and I suggest everybody go in and get involved with this, interact with this. This is the kind of thing that it actually is quite nice that they do in Star Citizen compared to some other games where you just don't really get that kind of communication. It doesn't solve everything, but at least there's a post where you can go and rail against the machine and you know somebody's going to read it. It says, "Hi everyone, we're always gathering data from the Issue Council internal tracking and the wealth of player feedback across all channels. Our player experience and community teams are dedicated to sharing these insights directly with development to ensure we're addressing what matters most. With our big push for playability, we want to leave no stone unturned, so we want to hear from you directly. What's the most frustrating, game-breaking, or immersion-shattering issue you're running into in Star Citizen right now?" Any guesses on what number one is? What could number one be? It's already locked. Look at that. There is an update. "Thank you for taking the time to reply. Closing the thread now so our team can compile a list and cross-reference it with the..." Holy shit, they got 1,500 replies. Okay. So they got a lot to get through then. All right, we'll see what they come back with from this. I guess it's too late now. Yeah, elevators. It's gotta be. It's freaking gotta be. This isn't about feature requests or wish lists. This is about the rough edges, the pain points, the things that may not always rise to the top of the issue council reports, but if addressed, would make a huge difference in playability. Just for the record, we're going to see a pushback from this whole stability push thing. I will probably be part of that pushback at some points because I enjoy new features coming to this game. I think they are important. If you told me to choose between base building, engineering, and the quantum travel rework coming into this game, or the game becoming playable this year, playable, like highly playable, like polished, I'd actually have trouble telling you which one I wanted. And I think for that reason, there will be times throughout the year when I'm like, dang, I wish we could be seeing more feature development. And there will also be times when I'm like, holy crap, it's so nice that we can do this in the game right now. So I think we should probably expect that on all fronts, because this whole thing, this isn't about a feature request or wish list. I can see people being like, well, yeah, everybody asked for stability. Everybody wants this. And it's not true. This is just the pendulum swinging an ongoing war of whether Star Citizen should be a constant 100% fast forward development. Okay, let's not say fast. 100% continuous development project, or if it should be a playable live service game that is in a state that can support people's, casual weekly play. I don't think they have an excuse to skip that second part anymore. The latter. Like, sorry guys, that time's coming on. We had the time, but it just took a while. And unfortunately, we gotta keep moving. And part of keeping moving is making sure it's an actual game. Quantum travel would be great, yeah. Okay, if they did nothing but quality of life, playability, and bugs fixing for a year. I just don't want it to come back and break again next year, It also means, like, what happens to dynamic server meshing? They haven't said anything about that. In all this talk of stability, playability, features or no features, content or no features, or features and no content, or whatever it is, I don't think they've said anything about dynamic server meshing. Come to think of it, did they explicitly name dynamic server meshing for 1.0? Not saying it wouldn't be there. Just wondering, like, when is the last time they've actually said something about dynamic server meshing besides Benoit talking about it, I think back in October or September maybe. I wouldn't necessarily say it's enough time for development. When I say that it's been enough time, I'm talking specifically about server meshing, and that is not in any way to disparage the work that's gone into server meshing, because the people who have worked on that have done really good work in a pretty high stress environment, I would say, or I would think. My point is just that even if it was impossible, clearly things were kind of planned around server meshing being around at least sometime by 2022. And when I say planned, I'm talking like around pandemic time. And I think that they wanted to get to that point and then be able to add the features on top, like engineering, Maelstrom, like those kinds of things, and then start stabilizing. I think right now they're cutting out that period of time after server meshing where they wanted to try and get a couple extra features in, or even get those in before server meshing if they could, something like engineering, and then have those included in the stabilization phase. Now, I don't know how it's going to work when they do all this fixing and tech debt stuff, and then they come back and start adding more stuff on top of it. I guess the hope is that because they have their back end in a better place, because the game engine for the most part has been complete on the core side, even adding stuff on top of it later wouldn't be as damaging as if they did it now. So we'll see. Either way, this thread said the feedback will be combined with the other channels we use to track and analyze issues. While we can't guarantee the fixes in a specific order or timeline, your input helps prioritize and ensures we stay aligned with your experience. To keep things focused, let's keep things constructive. We'll be leaving this thread open for a few days before locking it. This will ensure we can properly review and compile the most relevant issues. We want to make this a regular initiative so we can continuously surface key pain points that may not necessarily have as bright a spotlight on them. Now, most people who are probably going to put feedback in here are likely going to be in good faith and genuinely trying to get some sort of big issue in front of the staff. But a lot of people, and you can even see like the clown reactions here, a lot of people are going to see this and be like, okay, you guys just do this constantly. You ask us questions and then nothing gets done. And I think that everybody has a little bit of that side. We'll see how much of the stuff in this they actually do tackle quickly. It does seem like while they always planned on having this stabilization phase, they are knee-jerking a little harder, probably because of the launch of 4.0. Though I can't imagine that they're like caught off guard by 4.0. That just doesn't make sense to me. There are plenty of you in the chat who were sitting there before the patch came out and being like, hey, it's going to be rough. It'll make things work better, but it's going to be rough. Even Benoit said before it came out, it's going to be rough before it gets better. So I don't know how much they're actually like reeling from the launch of 4.0 and taking this direction versus this already being part of the plan with server meshing. You think Squadron could be a factor? But see, that again, that wouldn't really make sense because they've always known Squadron's coming out, right? Unless they passed some point in the last 2 months, 3 months, and they were like, oh, that's right, Squadron's coming out. We better fix the game. They've been planning on Squadron coming out soon TM since like 2022, 2021. They said in SCL they were planning in December for this. Right. I've got to do some research and go back. Maybe I can find it in videos, maybe not. There's a reason that a lot of us were kind of the belief that 4.0 would let them start restructuring the systems to make the game run better. I don't know if that came from them, if that was like a fan theory or what, but we thought it for a reason. The magnitude of roughness may be higher than expected. But the thing is, it feels like it's not roughness in the sense that the whole game's struggling. It's more so that it's a couple really significant things like party markers, quantum travel, server performance. Not even server performance, desync. And elevators. Guess I could count for everything. Oh, the devs are the real ones. Reeling. More fan theory than devs saying that. So how come the fans were right? I mean, we went through 3.0. We've already been through Star Citizen 3.0's launch. They may have thought that meshing would solve all the hiccups. So you think it's like but we knew that meshing wouldn't solve transit. We knew it wouldn't solve the way missions work. And those are like the two of the biggest things, right? Quantum travel, we know it's not going to solve because they have to do a new quantum travel system. We know it's not going to solve UI problems because they need to have new UI. It feels like meshing has done everything that it was supposed to in getting the servers to perform well. besides the desync. Might be completely wrong about it. I'm curious why that thinking was prevalent. To you, it was all part of their plan. They need to finish off the last few legacy systems. After that, they could start adding on top of it. It seems like it's part of their plan, but they got cut short, which is, I mean, the context always needs to be said again, I guess. When I say plan, I'm talking like last 4 years. Clearly, they're way past their initial plan. But it seems they got cut short on getting things in before stabilizing. You've seen a lot of creators who have preached that server meshing will fix everything. It allows them to fix everything. That's the biggest thing, though. Just like with 3.0, like they still have to do the things in addition to it. And unfortunately, the transit refactor slipping really hurts. Let's see what some of the people were saying in chats, though. Elevators was the first. Yeah, transit system is the most consistent and severe problem hindering me from enjoying the game, assuming I'm able to log in successfully. Transit system's hurting. Having a better transit system or something simple as emergency ladders or stairs is, yeah, number one comment. Inventory related bugs. You know, that's actually true. And this takes us back to their database problems that I'm still not convinced aren't causing some of the issues that we think are associated with server meshing. I pour one out for the database at least once or twice a month. It's rough. Can't do FPS missions, trading, nor collect my loot, let alone eat or drink when the inventory doesn't work. It's time to close the game. Mission markers. So missions, quantum beacons. Ship saying they're destroyed when I parked it. Oh, I don't know where that might come from. I guess that's ASOP. All of these are so systemic. Your server meshing was that server meshing, or your understanding was that server meshing would allow them to continue development of the game. Yeah, that's a simple way of putting it. It's actually a really straightforward, fundamental way of putting it. They've been stuck because they don't want to make things for a non-server meshed game when they're eventually going to switch to a server meshed game. So I think Certified Gumbo really summed it up well there. Server meshing being put into the game. It's kind of like you set a requirement for your project, and until you meet that requirement, things just aren't possible. And that was kind of their requirement. Like, you can't keep moving forward on making a bike if you don't have the fasteners. You can keep putting the frame together, attaching the wheels, throwing on the handlebars, but it's just going to keep falling apart because you don't have that key component that actually keeps it all working together. And server meshing was kind of that part. That's why, like, you'd be like, okay, so where are the story missions with the AI? Well, they can't do that because the AI don't function. Okay, why don't the AI function? Because the servers are overloaded. They need to be server meshed. Cool. Okay. How about we add some new points of interest? Why aren't there more outposts on the planets? Because there's too much stuff going on in the system. The game won't run correctly. So then how do we test the new locations? Well, we don't. Who knows? Maybe that's why we didn't get the air and halo belts. I doubt it. And not the belt, the gates. Ooh, love some tea. Okay, let's continue. Problems. Planetary cargo elevators always being broken and unusable. It sounds like another database thing. Quantum travel is my most recurring pain point. With having to realign nonstop, stopping between server boundaries. Yeah, quantum travel has definitely gotten pretty bad because of server meshing. Enemies not spawning. This would include not getting proper feedback or information of what enemies are still around. That's an interesting one. Said a route in star map is sometimes not working. Setting a route in the star map makes me want to pluck little hairs out of my head. Remember the gates? Don't feel like they're still happening after they scraped the jump gates as well. But the jump gates, they scraped the jump gates, at least they say they scraped the jump gates because they don't want people to think that jump points are man-made, right? That was their reasoning. That was what they told us. We don't want people to think that we've created jump points through the use of these gates. But the air and halo belt gates, they're kind of supposed to be like that, right? That's the whole point. Hey, we've created these gates to push everything else out of the way because rocks. Where did FPS scanning go? Again, another one of those things that I think we can say is almost a guarantee they wanted to have in the game before they started this phase of content focus. They're not feature complete. I feel like I'm probably gonna make two different videos about this. One of them being a very pessimistic view and one being an optimistic view. Or one being a view focused on why it's, I guess pessimistic and optimistic. One, because there's such great sides to this and there's also downsides to this. Like if we don't see FPS scanning by the end of this year, God, it would be so freaking disappointing. It's so crucial to so many different types of gameplay in Star Citizen. Choose your own adventure videos, right? A pessimistic view. Well, that's what my videos, that's what I try to make my videos. God knows how often that's taken. You joke to a friend that server meshing is the comic, doing 10,000 calculations per second, and they're all wrong. Let SC scale, but the scale added its own problems and exacerbated others. Yeah. Hello there, Space Llama Glama. Hello there. Setting a route in the star map. The ability to complete missions. Falling through the ground. Falling through the ground. Items disappearing in the inventory. Inventory locking up. Desync. ASOP functionality. Losing items inventory. Wait, what? Being too small as a female character to use the medical computers. That is a pretty dumb problem to have in the game. But I don't know how high priority that would be. Transit issues always being the worst issue every play session. Transit. Polaris ramming. Quantum travel. Falling through objects. Yeah, so a lot of like you could kind of sum it up to like long-term persistence problems and just very systemic things. The mission system, the travel system, the inventory system. So Chris came out and said, "Hey everyone, thanks for all the replies so far. We really appreciate your feedback. Just a quick heads up, keeping things organized is much easier when each reply focuses on one issue at a time. If you have more to share, just make a separate post for each. That way we can go through everything more effectively." Just want to submit a whole list. So that's a thread that they had briefly over the weekend. What else has been going on? Cloud test launcher would be interesting to hear about. You'd like them to focus on rebalancing of ship HP, shields, and damage. The only large ship that actually feels good to fly and survive is the Polaris. See, now there's another one of those things that's like that's something that they wanted to do with engineering, with armor. And we were like, okay, they're not going to rebalance all of the shields and HP for ships because they're going to bring in armor, which is going to throw that all for a loop anyway. So they'll probably kind of hold off on big changes until then. But now, what do? Do they rebalance for a game without armor? And if they do, when they do add armor, do they go and do more work to rebalance it again for the armor? How much work do you put into that? How much is too much? How much is wasting resources? I don't know. It's a rough spot that they're moving into. You haven't played SC in over a year. What do you mean by transit issues? The trams don't work? They have their problems. Sometimes they don't work. Sometimes elevators will not arrive at the station. Sometimes they will kill you, crush you, disappear. All kinds of things. What's up, ethnification? This person asked, is the Cloud Test Launcher tool still being used for player load testing? Can it be used in the server, in the SSM Pyro testing also? Will it be used when testing of the third system, Nyx, is added? And Noble replied, thank you, Noble, shout out. The tool is still being used, though currently not as much as it could be. My team is to iron out some issues of the tool, but do not have the capacity to do so right now. This is such a frustrating statement. I feel like this is just... It's getting exhausting. Because we hear this so much. Star Citizen teams just never have resources. It is a bit lower in priority due to more critical systems used by a lot more devs. It basically can be used for any kind of client testing. The CTL, as we call it shortly, is a service that boots with a few simple clicks, a user-defined amount of VMs with them all having multiple clients booting into the game in groups, and over commands the user can give those group commands like go into an Aurora and quantum to whatever moon we like. So it can be used for Nyx when added, as long as it is in a client build of the game, and as long as it is in a client build of the game, it can be used. CTL does not run any universe itself. It just boots the headless clients into the prepared universe and gives the headless clients commands, and they execute it. So this is just a tool that they want to use to test the game without using us humans, and they reported on it a little bit a few years ago.
The idea was created like 4 years ago. The first iteration was that you can go to the developer machines, install the software, and one person could simulate that traffic using those machines. Then came the next iteration of this idea, where we wanted to move that to the actual cloud. Right now, Cloud Test Launcher allows us to create machines on the fly when we need them, launch multiple clients on those machines, and simulate actual traffic. It actually launches a Star Citizen client, connects to the servers, and creates a very realistic testing scenario. Because you can say that there is network traffic, you can say that those players, even if they are emulated, they are actually doing something in Star Citizen, just like a normal connected client would. So this is quite a big deal.
Yeah. So it's a great idea, as many in Star Citizen are, but this is back in 2022, and they still have not been given the resources to make sure it can run the tests that they need to. So we kind of see this recurring culture of sending most resources to Squadron, which again, we get, it makes sense. Squadron's going to sell probably more than Star Citizen. It's also easier to ship. It's an easier game to make, but it's just taken so freaking long to make that Star Citizen has continuously suffered and will suffer even longer because of it. And it's at this point, it's become a very, just a pain point of the development in general, I think. There's not the software in general for online gaming. Oh, I think there is. I think it's a industry standard. I would imagine that every game engine that is developed and mature comes with a way of testing with headless clients It's just that CIG has made their own version for their game again. And, it's a version that works with their specific application, but that means that it takes longer to make. Lobo, thank you for the sub, mate. Plans to extend the fight for Pyro event given that 4.0.1 has suffered. Somebody asked this question. Here's a decent update. So the current event is proving difficult for people to complete. Somebody asked if it's going to be extended. Niku answered, Fight for Pyro's rewards are distributed once you complete Chapter 2's Phases 1 and 2. We are starting to see players enjoying their Ripper SMG and even faction-specific ship liveries. If they have also completed... Oh, okay. Chapter 1. So Chapter 1, Save Stanton, which I never did, will give you the faction ship liveries. And it sounds like if you just do Chapter 2, then you're getting the Ripper SMG. So CIG is for the first time introducing like more solidified narrative events. And I say, well, okay, it's not the first time. The first time was, what was that called? Operation... What was that thing called? Operation Inferno Territorium something. I don't know. Whatever that operation was we did last year, that was their first narrative event. But this is kind of them starting the story of Star Citizen. And we've gone through Chapter 1, which they called Save Stanton. Chapter 2, they're calling Fight for Pyro. We don't know what Chapter 3 is yet, but if you complete Chapter 2, you should be getting a new weapon. And it says, we're currently assessing the progress and stability, but rest assured you still have a few weeks to complete Chapter 2 in the live build. A few weeks is 3. I hope that's what they mean. Yes, Overdrive, thank you. Overdrive Initiative. On another note, our goal is to roll out PTU 4.0.2 to all waves in the coming days, continuing our series of improvements to enhance the PU experience for everyone. We will keep you in the loop. I wonder if they're going to call 4.1. If they are going to do monthly or bi-monthly or whatever kind of updates, does that mean we should expect a patch in 3 weeks and it is going to be called 4.1? They still haven't explained really what the idea is there, I think. First paragraph is insulting. Why is it insulting? What you are saying is that since some people have managed to complete both, the problem is with the rest of us who have run into a plethora of bugs that prevent starting the missions. Yesterday morning, I spent 2 hours just trying to get the elevators to work, and when I finally got out of and do a mission, it bugged out, and when the elevators wouldn't work again, how about taking some responsibility for the problems instead of blaming the victims? Wait. Are distributed once you complete Phase 1 and 2. We are starting to see players enjoying their Ripper SMG and even faction-specific liveries if they have also completed Chapter 1. Why is the first paragraph insulting? I don't understand. This post is on the 4th, so I guess we're 1 week past. So 2 more weeks from this. I don't understand. Why is that insulting? What is the... Hold on. Maybe I'm missing the question. Are there any plans to extend it? What is the internal end date of this event? I would like to complete it, but I have no desire to fight the current build. I don't understand what's wrong with this answer. Your answer does not answer the specific question. Are there any plans to extend the Fight for Pyro event, given that 4.0.1 has suffered massive instability? It's a no, is it not? They're not... it seems like this question is insinuating that there's already been a defined start time or a defined end date, and I'm not sure if there is. Maybe that's what they're referring to. You have 150 hours in Elite Dangerous? We're about to go over Elite right now. Well, after Star Citizen. The end date was... Is the end date 4.0.2? That would be very soon if that was the case. It was mentioned the end date would end when 4.0.2 went live. Okay. Gotcha. So this is assuming... So what do they say here? Our goal is to roll out 4.0.2 to all waves in the coming days, continuing our series of improvements. Okay, I see where they're... So that's important context. The idea is that it's supposed to end at 4.0.2. But he does not explicitly say whether or not it will be running in 4.0.2 live. So this could either mean that 4.0.1 is running for the next few weeks, or it could mean that the event runs into 4.0.2. I get why it's confusing. I was like, why? Okay. So I don't know if they answered that then. Has there been an answer to this question? I think this would be good to know. If 4.0.2 is in PTU, I can't imagine it's going to be a few weeks before it comes out. So it sounds like they're going to be running it during 4.0.2, but they should explicitly say that. Yeah, they need to extend the events into O2. All right, anything else interesting going on here to touch on? I think we're probably going to touch on Star Citizen again on Wednesday, right? Why don't we jump forward to the good old friend Elite Dangerous? Oh boy. So I've played Elite Dangerous a couple times. No, I've played Elite Dangerous for like a decent amount of time. I would say not enough time to have a good understanding of the mechanics or the intricacies of it. Could probably jump on real quick and see how many hours I have in there. So it looks like on Elite, I have 60 hours of playtime. Not that much. And I haven't played the game since like 2018. So I'm actually really excited to get back into this game over the course of this year because it's probably going to feel like a pretty different game for me. I've never eaten? Sorry, I read Anno's chat. I've never been on a planet in Elite Dangerous. I don't know most of the ships that they've released. Just in general, it's I'm looking forward to it. So the reason I'm looking forward to it, is that they are kind of booting their development back up in a pretty big way. They released a video back in December. Well, they made a whole blog post. Today is a special day marking our 10-year anniversary of Elite Dangerous. From taking flight for the first time to putting your feet on the ground on an alien planet, you have blazed your own trail in the galaxy like no other, and there's even more to come. So they're celebrating 10 years since Elite Dangerous launched, and in doing so, they also released a video where I believe they kind of announced some pretty big new things coming up. Let's jump to this point in the video and see what they're saying.
In the tide of the war, it was a shift. It was a pace shift from our players, and then they got a taste for it, and now.
So what he's talking about here is actually where I kind of stopped playing, which was the Thargoid War. It was kind of their big dynamic storytelling event that came up 6 years ago now, I think. Something that, like, God, we better see in Star Citizen, right? Now, I will say, this has not had the best development. All space games have some struggles because the space genre is not as big as something like fantasy. They've had to stop developing for consoles, which was a big deal to a lot of people. I have some friends who stopped playing Elite because of it. And I think it just goes to show how hard it is to spread to different platforms. And you got to kind of make sure that you're fitting a certain audience if you do spread to those platforms, which I think can ruin games like these. And it's probably a good move that Elite Dangerous did what it did. Sucks that they did, and they probably could have handled it better. But now they're focusing purely on the PC. They are pledging to focus again on development. They have a roadmap. They're releasing a big update in like a couple of weeks, I think, that is basically base building in Elite Dangerous. It's colonization. You go and you get to run a star system. You can decide its economy. You can decide where there are buildings and space stations. And it's like a huge leap forward for a game that has millions of star systems already to explore. So some big movement going on in this game, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do for the rest of the year. But here's what they had to say at their 10-year anniversary.
And all the star catalogs and all that sort of thing. And it was a thoroughly exciting and enjoyable process. Wow. Okay. So 10 years ago in Elite Dangerous, we've got the Federal set up, the Imperials set up. At that point, the Thargoids were somewhat in abeyance because those who will remember, at the end of First Encounters, the third game, the Thargoids, the player actually had the choice to release this mycoid or not, which is a fungus that attacks, and Thargoids, everything they have, they don't build, they grow. They grow from seeds, so they're genetic experts and all this sort of thing. That Cordyceps attacked them terribly, and we nearly wiped them out. Now, nearly wiping something out is not a great thing because it doesn't, but at that point,
that'll mess you up.
Humanity wasn't quite aware of what was brewing. And that was something that was at the back of our minds. We were already planning at that point. And some of the things that still haven't happened yet were planned back then.
I think the Thargoid War, if you actually, how close we've been working with it, the entire team, actually goes all the way back to the Adamastor Halloween story from a good few years ago, where we started putting the strings that led to, Caleb Wycherley and Salvation, all that sort of stuff, and then the Proteus wave. There's all been a culmination of that hard work coming in.
Oh, pro-Thargoid or anti-Thargoid, that's a very interesting one. It's a bit like saying, are you pro the alien in Aliens? I think I love the stories that they can create. And I think in a lot of stories, you need a protagonist and an antagonist. It doesn't make sense without it.
And so the Thargoid War start this year was really interesting. It sort of turned a different phase.
Dude,
I think
we can rag on lore all we want because lore tends to be like, I think lore is like a good DJ. You're gonna be real mad at it if it sucks, but you're not really gonna notice it that much if it's good because it's just there making the game real nice. And you might be like, oh, this game's great. This is good gameplay. Wow, this mission's really cool. But at the end of the day, lore does so much heavy lifting in making things matter. And I think setting up an adversary that's not just somebody you fight, but has like lore background, they've got history, reasons to fight you back, and then getting the players to come together to do that is such an easy way to start to build not just rapport in your community, but like a motivation, a freaking sense of caring. Like, I want to fucking kill someone, please. Which is, why we now have Fight for Pyro. Because I bet you by the end of this year, people are going to be a lot more connected to Star Citizen than they ever have been. And a lot of that's going to be lore. Praise lore.
I think when the Titans first arrived, I think if we're being honest, humanity took a bit of a pasting. We were on the back foot for quite a while. And whilst it was great to see community groups form and sort of take the fight back as best they could, there was nothing really we could do about these hulking great big motherships that were just sitting around the bubble. And then obviously there was the discovery of the nanite torpedoes, all player-led, which was fantastic because we sort of left the mechanics in the game for players to find. And of course, our players are very, very smart, so found that. And then they started taking the war to the Titans. So seeing... And in different ways, so seeing players going in and doing concerted efforts to sort of take systems back to make the Titans vulnerable, be it via trade, repairing stations, watching players go in and directly attack the Titans, and all that sort of stuff working through. So it was a turning point. It was, I think, to see the players finally realise actually now we can turn what was essentially been the tide of the war. It was a shift. It was a pace shift from our players, and then they got a taste for it. And now obviously we're at a stage where there's only one Titan. As of this recording, there's only one Titan remaining.
We always talked about this great social experiment, this player-led narrative, and the way I see it in this sandbox galaxy, it's the players who are the actors, and they're the ones telling the stories, and it's just amazing how various groups have, sort of been born out of that. I'm a big fan of the Fuel Rats, I think they're so altruistic, the way they strip their ship down, go around the galaxy, giving fuel to people. And I remember speaking to one, and I said, what happens if it's an ambush? And he go, we die. And I just thought, isn't that just a great sort of segment?
And then I go onto the forums of the website and I post about how the game sucks because people can kill me and it's dumb.
Of players, and obviously you've got the hunting truckers, and you've got code. All these things make this galaxy a dangerous and wondrous place where you live your life and you play the game how you want.
Elite as a franchise is such a massive part of my gaming history. It's colossal. It's huge. Always has been since 1984.
I watch his videos.
When I did have hair.
I wish I knew then what I know now about what a profound purchase that was going to be, and just what a life-changing experience.
Is that why people clicked in here to see what the burr pit looks like? It's the most replayed part of the video. All right, let's jump to the end real quick. I want to see what they have to announce for coming forward.
I enjoy that sort of that personal journey thing. And in many senses, the story of the game is your personal story.
It's a game that we're still adding to as well. It's a living game, which I'm really, really proud of, is that we're still putting new experience in there for everyone to enjoy.
2025 is such a good year to come back. It's steadied off, and I think since they announced the new feature colonisation,
Oh my God.
what a time to come back.
Yeah.
So I would always encourage someone to join the game, but join with some friends, join a group. They could show you the ropes, they could look after you, and then you can sort of go and do what you want to do. And I think it's a game which still gives you freedom.
Join a faction, join a squadron, become part of something bigger than yourself, and be part of one of the most amazing gaming communities that you will find anywhere.
It's such a rich world to explore. There's so much in there. There's so much history there, but there's so many things to engage with.
It's great for me and it's great for everyone else around me, and it's something I learn from those individuals. So working with Elite Dangerous team in 2024 is a privilege. So in 2025, your story amongst the stars will really continue. We have 10 years worth of content and a thriving community. There's never been a better time to play Elite Dangerous.
I'm happy with them. Good for them to be getting back on such a train of development with them. Imagine having friends. Oh, dude, imagine being able to game with somebody. I'll be watching this. We'll keep an eye on how things are going here. It's pretty cool what they're doing. I think they're still, like was said in chat, the planets themselves aren't super interesting in this game, and that's not a slight on the game itself. I think that Elite Dangerous is very much a game about space. It's a really good space sim, and I think the worst thing that they did was, instead of focusing and doubling down on space exploration and how much you could do with that in the far-flung reaches of the galaxy, they tried to do planet exploration. Elite Dangerous has got millions of galaxies, so much space, so much potential for derelict space stations and comets and asteroids with stuff on them that you could go see. And I don't know, I think there were a couple different directions they took, and I hope this one works for them, that they did. But we'll see how this all goes, because yeah, colonization is awesome. Planetary gameplay is awesome, but how deep is it going to get? How good are the planets going to get? Are you going to be able to update them graphically? We talk about how Star Citizen has great looking planets, but they need gameplay. Well, Elite Dangerous has some gameplay, but I think the planets need to look a little bit better. One's easier than the other, but we know that Star Citizen's working on gameplay. I don't know if Elite Dangerous is working on better atmospherics in their planets and stuff. I hope they do, but I know for a lot of people that's not very important. Going back to Star Citizen, actually, because I do want to draw a connection real quick with the Fight for Pyro event that they're doing, and also the new event that we're seeing in the PTU, which we haven't gone over yet. This is very similar to the Thargoid kind of thing. It's not the same caliber, and I don't think it has the same motivation or goals, but I mean, it's a live event thrown into the game that sees players all teaming up against one group over a course of time in different scenarios, and it seems like they're going to be doing it throughout the year if it loads. They updated the new one, and I'm not sure where I can find the post to that. Let's see. Yeah, there should be a post in Spectrum. I could show the text, right? The NDA is just for footage on these types of things. Am I allowed to show PTU patch notes? Yeah, pretty sure I am because I've seen them on a video. All right, so this is the next event coming up in Star Citizen, again, building on that consistent content and narrative idea that they have for this year. Keep in mind, this is going to be something that just continues to happen throughout the year. This isn't, normally we would see maybe one or two of these events to go out throughout the year. Looking at the monthly reports from last year, you can go back to almost any of them. Just pick out of thin air. July 2024, monthly report, Star Citizen. I always end up eating my words when I do stuff like this, but let's see if it works out. You go into these monthly reports, you scroll down to the narrative section, and you'll see... Here we go. Narrative worked closely with design to define mission providers and aspects of reputation. Work also started on the initial scripting and development of additional stories for players to discover. On top of that, the narrative designers spent time overseeing the presence of social AI in various locations, making sure the areas are not only marked up correctly, but the general vibe and feeling of the area is accurately represented. We're seeing both of these things. New missions and new social AI. Narrative team got pretty busy last year, and they were busy for almost the entirety of the year, unlike previous years. They didn't really do much narrative stuff previous years in the game. It was mostly just deliveries every month of some kind of lore drop to teach us about the game. But if you go through all of last year, you will see that they were busy. And a lot of that stuff... this freaking website, guys. There we go. A lot of this stuff, I think, is what they were working on. So we've got 3 major factions here that aren't going away. These people are going to be consistently represented throughout the gang. They will continue to build on them in terms of armor, in terms of their lines and their territory and all that kind of stuff. And they'll just keep adding new narrative missions. They might not be as big as the ones we're doing right now, but they will keep building off these factions until they can finally start having a decent catalog of narrative-based contracts for people to take. I'm betting they want to be in that position by the end of next year. This is absolutely the beginning of them moving towards this.
The location that they take place in.
Getting all these guilds to be recognized, getting them to have specific factions. They're all going to have storylines. We're just seeing it start here. In front of our face, or not in front of our face, in more subtle ways than just announcing that they're adding in new mission storylines. So they're doing what they said at CitizenCon in some aspects, but there's a lot of stuff still missing. Either way, what comes after this is something people are calling Jumptown and Pyro, but then people also are saying not quite. I haven't read entirely deeply into what this is, but this is a new event that should be coming to Star Citizen Live sometime in the next week or 2, I would assume. The release is highly focused on 3 key points to improve and fix as many top key gameplay issues as possible, improve connectivity and stability, and begin the latest supply or die Pyro event. This build pulls in all the current bug fixes and stability that were not compatible with 4.0.1. Without giving away the full details, Supply or Die is Pyro's answer to Jumptown. Okay, so that's why they're saying that. This event will run throughout the PTU cycle in 4.0.2 and have factions to join. This is going to be a PvP event once out of Evocati, but during this time, keep the Evocati no PvP rule in effect until further waves are open. PvP only allowed when players consent. So, they're not really saying too much about how it works, but people have been playing this, so I'm guessing you guys already have some idea of what it does. But the idea that factions are involved is, once again, showing that they're experimenting with what they've already done in Jumptown and maybe some other events, but they're now starting to try and add in NPCs. We couldn't do that until server, like they're doing what they said. Server meshing came out. Now they're starting to experiment more with AI. That was one of the biggest things that we've been waiting for server stability to allow us to do. Okay, I actually have some description here, but that is not the PT patch notes, so I'm not gonna. Frontier Fighters kind of feels like Xenothreat proxy. It's a psyop. Frontier Fighters being set up as a bad guy group. Hey man, the only person who defines who a bad guy is you. Known fixes coming into this are depots and locations entering fizz grids can result in players and AI losing collision. Event rewards are not obtained after completing the events. Oh, that sucks. User becomes stuck after riding the freight elevator down at the depots. And placeholder total is on the detail rather than the actual number on the mobiGlass. What did they do in here? Further networking changes to help load times, AI planet navigation performance polish, instance hangar performance optimizations, further lighting and rogue entity performance polish pass, added new distance values to the spawning of salvage ships around rest stops. Dude, just give us missions to have people drag salvage ships to the rest stops. Come on now. You guys know where it is. Volt! Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, I think this guy's spot on. I think the Volt weapons at this point should probably be considered to be something that they're going to fit narratively into the game. A previous CIG probably would have just dropped the Volt weapons into the game. This CIG is going to tie them to some kind of narrative content this year. They're hooked on that now. They got the bug. They got the itch. Content. Luna Maria, good to see you. Welcome in. Howdy. For now, for you, SC is the gold standard for flight and graphics. If they beef the missions and AI is a bit, it'll be sugar. It'll be sugar. X4 economy and management is A++, but actually flying in the universe is meh. Well, they're working on that now, which we will see soon. So yeah, fight for Pyro. This sounds like it could be interesting. It looks like it's going to be a kind of you're going to have to resupply locations, but it seems like those locations are contested. So I don't know. I'll have to look more into it, but it sounds kind of like it's just a mixture of the gameplay in the game. Combat, factions, and cargo all coming together, which, again, this wouldn't be hard to predict. This is the kind of stuff that they just need to experiment with. They need to get AI into situations where NPCs and players will be shooting at each other and one another. They need those combat triangles because we need to start to see the applications of reputation, of how AI factions respond. What happens if you've accepted a mission with a friend who has a bad reputation with the AI that you accepted the mission from? How do they respond? That might be the kind of stuff that causes them to not even have mission sharing in the game right now. I don't know, but they're going to need to keep bringing up these sorts of edge cases so that we can experience them and get them figured out, because faction hostility is it's an interesting beast. All right. I realized that was kind of, I went back to Star Citizen a little bit there. So Now we're switching from Star Citizen, from Elite Dangerous kind of, and let's talk about X4. This is actually a sleeper, I think, in the newer space sim community. A lot of people have joined Star Citizen in the last 4 or so years, and this game has been out for a lot longer than that, and I would say hasn't had its heyday since then. Like it was bigger before then. I could be wrong about that, but I actually have no idea. X is a series of space games that has been out for as long as any of the other space games you talk about, from what I know. And while I've never played any of the games, I jumped into X4 briefly last year. You can actually probably find the stream up on YouTube somewhere. And I had a blast. This is a cool game. I will come out and say right away, it is single player. So for some of you, that's really good. For some of you, that's bad. You don't like that. Some people really want a single player space game, because it's just nice to be able to fly around on your own occasionally and chill when you're not trying to do a whole bunch of player interaction. And I think this might fit for a lot of people. 2 big reasons for that. One is it allows for a lot of the same kinds of movement and gameplay as Star Citizen. So you can get out of your ship, you can EVA, you can land on stations, you can talk to people. You don't have planet landings, and you don't have ship interiors, I think. Can somebody confirm that? Maybe on the larger. I didn't have a ship interior. Did I? Actually, maybe I did. Somewhat of a ship interior. Yeah, kind of. So it's like light. Ship interior is light. Ship ints. And on top of that, like was mentioned in chat, they have a great economy. Oh my gosh. It's like you're living in a breathing universe of space factions and companies and ships and neighborhoods and highways, and the distance that things are from other things changes the prices that you have, and it all is shifting in real time as you're playing. And then here's the big kicker. Once you've ran out of all of the things to do and you've done all of the shipments and the missions and the fighting and all that stuff, and you're like, okay, I want to start an org. I want to have a company. I want to scale up. I want to make more money. You can literally start a corporation and send NPCs out to run missions for you. They take your ships and haul your goods. They take your fighters and protect your ships. And like, it's a really cool vibe. I love it. I'm a big fan of it. And so I wasn't super big on it because I kind of thought that it was just fading and eventually we'd see X5, maybe there'd be a new one. But recently they announced that they have not just a new update coming out, a whole roadmap for 2025, and they've taken the flight model physics person from Star Citizen. Back when everybody loved the direction that the flight model was going in, they had your boy John Pritchett, who was working on how to get it happening. He was good at his job, but his job didn't really mesh with Star Citizen, I think. Much like many of the things that go on, that unfortunately Star Citizen has gone through a long phase of learning that kind of thing. But this is not him. This is him. This is another John Pritchett. Senior physics programmer in CIG Los Angeles from November 2013 to June 2018. He was the main contributor to the various spacecraft flight simulation components, including IFCS and Gravlev. He had been working remotely from his house in Kansas City, left CIG because CIG needed to bring IFCS in-house, and he has now not been relocated to CIG Los Angeles or Foundry 42 Manchester, which would have ended up happening at this point now. Although I do think if he was on the job for the rest of his time, it would have been, I think the flight model would have been something very interesting in this game. Maybe not as accessible, though, as they want it to be. He was replaced by David Coulson, who was also later left CIG, which is why Yogi took over the flight model. But he has now gone over to X4, and he's working on their physics engine to lead the transformation of X4's flight model. They're delighted to be able to incorporate his contributions and look forward to hearing the feedback once everybody has had a chance to try it out. Now, the beta for this is already out. You can actually go try this. They announced the beta known as the Flight Model Update. And it came out December 24th with the first quarter of 2025 planned for the actual update. So let's see what this included.
Hello everybody. It's the time of the year again where I'm happy to talk to you about the future of X4 Foundations. As I've already said last year, we are far from done with this game. X4 Foundation is getting another major update and we are going into a beta phase, public beta phase now. So you are all invited to help us test the game. And yeah, I'm here to tell you a little bit about what this is about and what our plans for the near future are. So this is an update that we hope to release in the first quarter of 2025. And the main new feature is a major improvement to the flight model. So we completely redesigned the flight model, which means the way ships behave, the way both AI controlled ships as well as the ones that you are steering yourself behave.
Somebody was just in chat earlier, right? You said the flight model was the main reason you didn't play this?
In space. And the goal with that is to make
For me, honestly, it's the graphics. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit snobby. The UI and graphics are what have kept me away from this game. I hope those get updated.
The weight of ships better. Yeah, and with that comes a major rebalancing of all engines, all ships, and all thrusters. So everything that relates to how ships move and feel in space. So that's a really big deal. And that's why we want to test this really thoroughly with your help. So please, if you have some favorite ships that you would like to see how they are behaving with this update, please test it and give us your feedback, because this is your chance to make your voice heard. And
all right, what else is, because we've actually watched this before on the channel. We did a brief X4 update. Let's see what else was in this though.
You all a little bit early maybe already now, a happy holiday season and all the best for the next year. So see you soon in the X universe.
Activated switch 6. Affected switch 5.
Little EVA suit.
Hi everyone, I'm Alistair, game designer at Egosoft, and I'm going to dive a bit deeper into some of the things Bound talked about, specifically the flight model update. With today being the start of its public beta, we're inviting you to help us refine.
So this update right now is very focused on the flight model.
It's been dear to our hearts for a while now to make X4's flight model more immersive, make those ships feel even more different to each other, and make flying itself just generally more interesting.
It's an interesting shit.
This is a really big undertaking, for which we've teamed up with Mr. John Pritchett, a former senior physics programmer for Star Citizen, and now we're eager to share this work with you and to hear your feedback on it. The flight model upgrade doesn't just change how ships handle, it transforms the way engines and thrusters and modifications, how they all interact with each ship, making each component feel unique and impactful. The first thing you'll likely notice is that steering and accelerating can now be a lot smoother overall, unless you're in one of those supercharged racing ships.
It's a lot more ship. The ship customization is actually really. So they do ship interiors and, well, somewhat of ship interiors, and you can still change out your components like this? Or is it just components you're changing, not really the design of the ship? It looks here like you've got the chassis and then you've got engines, thrusters, shields, weapons. So like you're changing out components, kind of like in Star Citizen. But it does look like, I mean, thrusters is different. That's cool. It's like Elite Dangerous as well. I like this. Honestly, this game is I could sink a lot of time into something like this.
A lot smoother overall, unless you're in one of those supercharged racing ships, because that's the beauty of the new system. We can create more precisely how a ship should feel and behave. Some ships now drift a lot more, which makes movement more challenging and increases the value of installing better thrusters. The handling of corvettes and heavy fighters can now be significantly different from that of smaller fighters. And as a result,
this game would be really cool if it was co-op. There's one more game I want to go over today before we leave. Jump Ship is like kind of like a it is kind of like this but co-op.
They don't just fly differently, but they might also fight differently. Bulky transports are now slower to respond to your control inputs, providing a sense of this immense weight that you're propelling through space. While interceptors and scouts can now be really good at staying maneuverable regardless of how fast they're moving. Even at their highest travel drive speeds, they can still turn really well. There's more variety within ship classes too. Some light destroyers can now fly circles around their heavier counterparts. For a direct comparison, this video showcases how the small Mark III engines differ from one another when installed on the same ship, a Chimera, with otherwise identical setup and traveling along the same path. As you can see, some of the engines now drift more noticeably due to their different power output.
Dude, this is such great. This is like such a great crunchy update, and I love the way they're showing how it works.
Handling characteristics. The engines now feel different, not only per race, but also per type and per quality level.
I think it would be better if we got to see something that was in engine though, and gave us like an overlay of all of them, because it's hard to look at each screen at the same time.
As you can also see, the heads-up display now includes a new boost bar that depicts your remaining boost energy. Based on your feedback from a recent poll, boosting will now use this dedicated energy pool instead of draining your shields. We've also rebalanced every single engine's boosting capabilities and boost energy recharge rates to further increase engine variety. There are other great additions in this update too, such as new sectors that create alternative connections even to some DLC factions, as well as further graphical enhancements such as support for DLSS and FSR3. Make sure to check out our full changelog in our Steam news or on our forum. The main attraction though is the flight model, so if you are getting involved with the public beta testing, we'd be very grateful to hear your thoughts on this big update. In order to experience these new features and help us refine them, take a read of the instructions in the video description which explain exactly how to join the public beta. And please don't forget to back up your saves.
Love some freaking planetary rings, dude. So I know I said I'm a graphics snob, but this actually is looking pretty
Join
good.
the public beta. And please don't forget to back up your saves. While feedback based on your existing save game is also valuable to us, you will get the best possible overview by starting a new creative custom game and trying out as many engine and thruster and ship combinations as possible. The entire team here at Egosoft is eagerly awaiting your valuable feedback on our forum. And until then, I wish you all happy testing.
I don't actually like. I feel like somewhere in between single player and MMO is like what I want, because I think about these kinds of games and I'm like, I'm not crazy about MMOs, but it is cool to have multiplayer aspects in the game. Maybe like a smaller instance kind of thing. Whoa, wow, maybe what Star Citizen was originally trying to do. Interiors aren't as detailed as SC. It's mostly made out of prefab parts. Okay. Game's called X4. Secret code is Gardener, by the way. So the rest of that update is called the Hyperion Pack. Brings in a new ship, a new mission chain, a new game start granting immediate access to the Hyperion if you prefer to jump into the new ship straight away, a new sector, new music, and I believe then there's the new flight model. The game uses AI generated content. Didn't know that. AI generated voice lines based on licensed voice actors. So there's your update to X4 and kind of what's going on with them. Let's see if there's anything else here. No, we basically went through everything in this update. And then they believe they have a roadmap for the rest of the year too. Yeah, here we go. So 2025, they do want to bring in new NPC mission givers, diplomatic options. Ooh, a graphical update. Very good. And I guess more in the future. Honestly, I'm just glad to see that the development continues on this one, full speed ahead, just like with Elite Dangerous. Like, it's really cool how many space games that are really focused on space. They're not just like space RPGs like Starfield. These are full-on space games are pushing forward with whatever it is they're trying to do in their specific area. The next one being Exodus. This is an interesting one. This is actually a lot different from the other games that we're going over today. Exodus is more an action-adventure RPG kind of thing, and it is also very AAA in its presentation. and I would say in its background as well. I don't know what the funding is coming from, but it's got like a lot of pretty big names involved. They've got writers and lead devs who worked on the original Mass Effect trilogy. They've got what's that guy's name? What's the dude's name? The guy you gotta look to the stars. You know, what's the dude's name? Murph, I'm in the bookshelf. That guy. Who is he? He's in this too. Matthew McConaughey. There it is. So they're clearly like they're trying to gear up for a big presentation. For anybody who hasn't seen this, it's very cinematic, but honestly, I was not very interested in this when I first saw it. It looked interesting, not that like gripping to me. But then I started to look at the lore and read about the background of this and watch some of their Q&As, and I'm actually becoming very excited for something like this because it's very clear that they know what they want to do. And that's usually the best thing for a game. A game can be any kind of game, but if the company has a really good idea of what they want to do and they set out for that and they know it, a lot of times you can make something really good out of that. And it seems like they know they want to make a deep, rich space opera with a lot of history. They want it to be a narrative, character-driven process, and they want it to be an exciting delivery, I think. It's definitely got a lot of action built into it. But I'm very intrigued. Now, we've only seen one gameplay trailer. I guess I'll show you guys the gameplay trailer before we look at the Q&A. So it doesn't tell you much. Honestly, to me, it looks like it plays kind of like Mass Effect Andromeda or something. An action-adventure sci-fi game, sure. It's really the writing and characters and story I'm interested in, but here's a quick look for you.
Preparing to transfer now. This is your last chance to bail, June.
Do it.
Loaded weapon is a hell of a way to greet your new partner.
So you're June.
We're burning time. Now that we're all best of friends, let's make each other rich.
I'm not just here to look pretty. I've got away with celestial tech.
I see a lot of potential in this new partnership.
Let me light the way for you.
Target acquired. Many thanks again for your help.
I'm sorry. Hold on. What was this dude guarding? What is he doing? I love it when they do this in games. They're like, sneak through this area and take out the guards, and then the guards just run these absolutely ridiculous routes. They like go and stand right next to a wall for like 30 seconds. Assassinate me. Come on. Are you reading, sir?
Many thanks again for your help. You should have been honest.
This place is forbidden. The price is death.
That's what it means to be a traveler.
So that is the gameplay trailer. Now, I wasn't really that impressed when I watched it, and
Thank you for coming in. This is your captain speaking. Tomato,
my man, Star Jump with the raid, dude. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for jumping in. Good to see you all. We're doing our, I don't even think this is like a regular thing. We're just reviewing space games. Space games of this year, what's going on with them. Star Citizen, No Man's Sky, Elite Dangerous, X4, Exodus, Jump Ship, things. If you like ships, well, if you like spaceships, stick around, we have tea. But if you like spaceships, we also do talk about that too. And I'm assuming if you came from Star Jump, you like spaceships. What were you guys up to? Talking about new things? Thanks for the raid, my dude. I'll catch you later. The IAE logo, but sideways. It's kind of close. So, like I said, I wasn't really all that interested when I saw the gameplay. But it's not, even the story trailer, I wasn't that interested in because it just really, I don't know, it gave me very generic feels. But then I started to read more about what's actually going on here and what is like the whole point of all these trailers and stuff. And the lore for this is really freaking good. There's like weird things you see in this gameplay trailer. For instance, a bear. Like, why is there a bear fighting with armor on? Like, what is this? These are actually, I believe these are the souls of aliens, I think, that are reincarnated into animals through science rather than like a kind of magic sort of thing. And there are certain levels to how smart they can be. Dino Riders. There's also so there are these races. Celestials, they call them, right? But instead of being a race, it's kind of like the Covenant from Halo in that they're not all the same. So like this is a member of the Celestials. This is a member of the Celestials. There are other members of the Celestials that are freaking awful, terrible things. I don't know if they show up in this trailer. And the Celestials, God, I'm still so rickety on this lore. The Celestials are kind of like a group of people who have evolved and adopted technology. The interesting thing about them, though, is one of the most powerful forms of Celestials is actually humans that went and colonized space. The idea was, I believe, that it's a pretty common trope. We sent humans out to colonize space in certain ships. Those humans got lost. We kind of forgot about that and continued to develop on our own in our own home. And then we got good enough to advance further than we had sent those humans, I believe. So the humans that originally went out and got lost had developed for thousands of years beyond what we did. And so now they're like really badass compared to us. I believe I'm saying this all wrong, but my whole point is that there is a lot going into this. And like I said earlier on, the lore in a game can actually do a lot of heavy lifting. And I think this game has some potential based on their lore and stuff. So in 2200 AD, fleeing a dying Earth, governments and other powerful organizations begin launching fleets of arc ships out into the galaxy, seeking a new home for humanity. So this is what I was talking about. In 2200, we left Earth, or humans left Earth to go find new places to live. Almost 16,000 years later, several of those arcs reached the Centauri cluster, 16,000 light years from Earth. They discover hundreds of densely packed star systems with thousands of potentially habitable planets and send out the green world signal to summon the rest of the arc ships. 16,000 light years away. But you can imagine we would have gotten pretty advanced by then. Another 8,000 years after that, Centauri's early history is marked by the violent rise and fall of interstellar empires with the aid of genetic engineering. The citizens of these constantly warring cultures rapidly change and evolve. After that, we jump forward another 6,000 years. So this is like a really, really big timeline they've got set up for this. It kind of reminds me of Dune. In the aftermath of the Formation Wars, a powerful celestial species called the Elohim rise to prominence. The Elohim construct the gates of heaven, an interstellar network linking all of the systems of Centauri, heralding in a new age of exploration and trade. So we're like seeing space age development in a different star system. But they mention a powerful celestial species. Keep that in mind. Rise of the Aslan Dynasty. This is about 11,000 years later. A long-lost human Ark fleet arrives in the Malakbel system and establishes a colony on the moon of Lydon, building atop ruins left behind by a long-extinct celestial civilization called the Detenir. After 2 centuries of struggling existence, a human traveler named Orion Aslan emerges as Lydon's leader and savior. So, it is a weird... It's kind of hard to understand how this forms, but this is normal humanity. This is the beginning of normal humanity settling in the Centauri system, which is where this all takes place. They even say here in the timeline, 40,000 years ago, humanity was forced to abandon a dying Earth. Taking to the stars in massive arc ships, we found a habitable galaxy in Centauri. Here, we are the underdog struggling for survival in a cold and hostile galaxy, teetering on the edge of extinction. Our only hope is salvation, lying with the travelers, brave heroes and explorers descended from the early colonists of those first ships that left Earth long ago. So this is one of those ships that left Earth long ago, and this is where the humans are coming from. But in the meantime, because this long-lost ship just landed and is carrying what you assume to be humans, you've also got whoever it was that showed up 40,000 light years ago. Right? The humans separated and have evolved separately for 40,000 light years. So that's how you end up with... it's not in here. The other celestials that look like humans. And that is a big part of the push of this game. The other interesting part of this game is they're playing with time dilation. So when you travel in this game, you go and run missions, you go to different outposts or places, you're doing light years of travel. And the idea in this game is they want to play with that so that when you do go and come back, you're seeing the passage of time in the places you've been. This sounds like they're building on what Fable 2, I think, tried to do, or Fable 3. Remember when Peter Molyneux was like, I'm going to do everything, and then didn't? It reminds me of that. You can do something, you go off and you play your game, you come back, and it shows you how big a difference you made. Let's see if they talk about... So, for the life of a traveler, time becomes your enemy. A force you cannot see or escape, a concept distorted by the unfathomable speeds at which you traverse the space. What may seem like mere hours or days to you can equate to years, even decades passing for those left behind. With each exodus, you are confronted not only by the dangers that lie waiting for you across this universe, but also by the emotional toll of your absence on those you love. Each choice you make while you are traveling on your interstellar missions is magnified by the reality of time dilation, and the costs and consequences are often paid by your entire civilization and the friends and family you left behind. Considering this game is being written by the original writer of Mass Effect, I'm going to go ahead and assume they've got a whole bunch of little moral choices that you have to make and hard decisions that they're going to use to play with this. The team at BioWare kind of changed things when it came to RPGs, at least in the West. And I'm hoping that they have some of that energy here still. Here's a, I guess, explanation of time dilation. I don't know.
We both knew the cost of using the gates. When you travel at light speed, time slows to a crawl. It was only days for me, but an entire lifetime passed for her.
Yeah, there's several previous Mass Effect folks working on this.
We never said goodbye.
Why do the faces look so weird in this, though? So they have a whole bunch of these little, like, tastes of game that you can watch and get caught up. There's just, like, a lot of information to get caught up on, and I think that's part of what makes games succeed now. It's like people want to get stuck in. They want to feel feel the vibe of games. They want to be able to enjoy it and engross themselves in it. And it's a good way to get people more involved. There was one more video I wanted to show you of this besides the Q&A. It was the one with good old Mikey. I have no idea. Is it this one? No. Is it this one?
What she found that.
No. Is it this one? No. This one? Nope. This one.
Of using the gates.
Nope. That's the one we just watched. Huh. Oh yeah! That's right! This video, wait, you guys can get stuck into this because they released an episode of Secret Level for this. So if you want to learn more about the lore and the depth, that new Amazon video game series that came out, one of the episodes is about this game. Still haven't watched the 40K one.
It's time. This world has waited for your arrival.
Now this is Outer Worlds.
It is you. You will open the door. Because you are the chosen.
I honestly, probably doesn't say much because I don't remember what the Exodus story. Oh, that was it. Yeah, that's right. The Exodus story was it was a story about how a girl joins one of these travelers and goes on missions with him, and her dad tries to chase her down to get her back because she basically ran away. But because when she ran away, she got onto a starship that was light year jumping. By the time he found her, she was older than him. Very Interstellar, but you know, they're clearly putting a lot of work into making sure this video or this game has like a presence in the industry before they finally come out and launch it. And look, here we are doing just that. All right. Let's take a listen to this last developer Q&A, and then that's going to be it for Exodus. Oh, what is that audio?
We've made the capital city on your world, Persepolis, a major...
Okay, hold on. James Olin, I'm pretty sure he's one of those people who worked on Mass Effect. He was senior creative director of BioWare for 22 years. God. And then he left and started this company. Dude. So he was the lead designer and creative director on Star Wars, The Old Republic, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Dragon Age Founder, Arcanum, Worlds, Dragon Age Origins, Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. So, if you wanted to make sure that this might be in good hands, holy crap, that's a lot of good games.
Hub of your adventures and your experience. And so you go off on your Exodus journeys, and you leave behind your city and some of your friends and maybe even family members, and you make choices about them. For example, not everyone has to come on an Exodus with you. You might leave some behind. And when you come back, it could be a decade later, it could be 4 decades later, and those choices will have impacted your relationships with people that are now a decade older or 3 or 4 decades older.
Yikes.
How your city has evolved, how technology has been integrated.
Dude, how are they gonna, how does that fit into a game? For all the different locations and people you meet? That's a lot.
To everything from the military to, civic structures to, well, I can go on and on.
What?
June is the player character in the game.
All right, Chad Robertson, co-founder, executive producer. Let's do a little, what was it, Robinson? Rugby player? What was his name? Robertson. YouTuber, is that him? Chef, of course. Oh, it's not. Chad Robertson, BioWare. There we go. He's been there for 14 years, and he also was working on... Oh my god, I just want to... Can't even look at a post on these freaking websites anymore. You gotta log in! Okay. Dude, why is it so hard to just find official information about? Not on my personal profile, please. VP Archetype Games, worked at EA with Mythic for a while, BioWare for 11 years. Honestly, if he was working at BioWare during the 2000s, then he was also putting out some really good games. Take too long on missions and come back to everyone dead. Yeah, basically. 4 games with BioWare. Here we go. See, this is all I wanted. So he worked on The Old Republic, Anthem, Mass Effect, Andromeda, Dragon Age Inquisition, more Inquisition, more Andromeda, or sorry, more Old Republic. So not as much as James in terms of the beloved games of BioWare, but I do hear good things about Republic. What was he doing? Oh, he was head of Chief Technical Officer. Okay. So he was doing like C-level stuff.
You'll have some options in terms of character creation that we'll be talking about at a later time. So that'll give you some unique aspects to who June is for you. But ultimately, your player experience is going to be dictated primarily by the choices you make throughout the experience overall.
See, I feel like this guy, I think this is a scene where we're seeing somebody that they missed for a long time. Doesn't this guy look like he's been purposefully aged up to look old? Like,
your player experience is going to be dictated primarily.
Like, it looks like they want him to look old. You know, some people just look old. And then some people you're like, they look old. This guy
Primarily by the
looks old.
choices you make throughout the experience overall. You'll make choices both at a kind of micro level and a macro level in terms of the overall story and in terms of the things you do with gameplay.
He looks kind of like our main guy old.
So you'll be able to customize your character through some traditional ways in that you can do in RPGs with skill trees and progression paths that we think are going to be compelling for players. But on top of that, the choices you make throughout the story are really going to dictate who June becomes.
Okay, that was literally him again.
On top of that, the choices you make throughout the story are really going to...
Like, that's him talking to himself, right? So they're going to play around with this kind of stuff.
Dictate who June becomes and ultimately what they're shaped, both by yourself, but also the companions that surround you and your loved ones that, in the cases of time dilation, you'll leave them back home in some situations. And the manifestations and ramifications of those choices are going to be meaningful to you and shape you as June the player.
Anthem could have been great. Could have.
Well, actually, I'd say that it was more Jesse Sky's vision. He was the one who solved the puzzle. We were coming up with the universe and figuring out what a player was doing, and Jesse just kind of brought it all together. You're going to be part of an organization that goes out and finds these remnants that you can bring back that will help your world and change your world, and that's going to be the centerpiece of the IP because that's what the player is going to play as, and that's how the Travelers came about.
It's very original.
Director, and he has a really good way of taking all the elements and figuring out how they work holistically, and then coming up with something cool that players will want to be. So that's how the Travelers came about.
Just smacking a bear around?
For, if I can add on to that, it's just when it was described to me by James and Jesse early on, there's elements of it that we want to feel elite and somewhat secretive. You can think a little bit of inspiration from like the Jedi, but there's not like a Jedi Council in the game that kind of is an overarching kind of structure to it. They're a little bit more rogue, a little bit more independent, but still work towards a common goal of saving humanity. And I think that's kind of a binding force with them on these journeys that they go on that are interstellar and have impact on them timeline-wise that's different from a typical journey.
Yeah, I think the time dilation is going to be a big sell.
The Centauri Cluster, it's the only place within the galactic neighborhood that had worlds that were in the habitable zone and that could be terraformed easily in the grand scheme of things, which is why the first of those who went out on an exodus on their ark ships were able to colonize those worlds and create civilizations. Those civilizations grew until they were enormous and technologically superior civilizations, and they sent out what we call the green signal to the rest of the galaxy so that the other ark ships out there could come to this galactic Eden. So the ark ships started arriving, but they arrived slowly over thousands of years. So we have this really interesting dwarf galaxy with thousands of star systems and empires and organizations. Some of them have already died off and there's just the remnants left, while others might be just a few decades old, filled.
See, that is really freaking cool. I actually didn't know that. I thought it was two distinct groups, but it sounds like they're trying to set up humanity to be at various thousands of years of discrepancy in terms of formation or advancement.
With humans who just got off their ark ships who were on Earth like a century before. So the sky's the limit, which is really cool because it means that there are so many different places and eras and civilizations that you can visit within the Centauri cluster.
I think one of the coolest things about the IP in that
actually sets you up for a pretty solid IP long term. There's a lot of stories they can get out of this.
Text to that question is just that juxtaposition, like the celestials that have evolved over 40,000 years contrasted with humans that are basically near Earth to us that just got off ark ships. I mean, James said this, but like if you really stop and think about that, like there are descendants that have changed, and we're kind of as humans, kind of the scrubs of the universe that are fighting to survive. And that's where June comes in as the player character to really kind of reestablish humanity's hope for a future that's meaningful to humans as we know them, contrasted with the Celestials, who are much more evolved and have done some amazing things in the Centauri universe.
Oh, the Mariama. Of course you're going to interact with them. They're quite creepy, and we did want...
These are like the Flood for this game. They don't work exactly the same, but that's the vibe I get. They're very terrifying aliens.
A celestial civilization that was just evil. We created it was probably like a page-long description of the Mariama and what they were and what they did. But then we gave that to Peter F. Hamilton, and he just dialed it up to like ridiculous. And then the company that made the video that you saw, Aaron Sims, they took that and just visualized it in an amazing way. So that's
right. The guy who they got to, oh yeah, see guys, this is a huge effort. We saw the secret level episode, right? We see how much they're putting into this game. I forgot they also got a really well-known sci-fi author to write the book on this. So a book has come out, a novel has come out, and they were kind of looking for who they wanted to write it, and he had some different choices, but they landed on Peter F. Hamilton. Now, I know he's very, very famous for writing, and I'm sure many people are going to be appalled at the fact that I don't know his bookology. Let's see. Judas Unchained, Fallen Dragon, Light Crusader, Evolutionary Void, Pandora's Star. So if you're a sci-fi book nerd, you might recognize some of his books. But they got him to write the book. And basically they told him, they're like, here are some of the basics of what we're doing. Here's the world we're making. Now please write the book and work your stuff into it so that we can take that back to the IP and continue to develop it. So they've got a great mind who's been developing sci-fi worlds for decades to also help them flesh out a lot of the details of this. And I think that's probably going to do a lot for them too when it comes to this lore. As long as they can get the gameplay to work for this, I think they've got a hit on their hands because the lore and presentation of this looks great already.
Turning out to be as awesomely creepy and evil as we wanted them to be.
Yeah, I got to read that book.
It has to be in the context of what
I heard it's a good book too.
Because there's so many good ones. I mean, the game overall. What character would I want to be in the world of Exodus that we've revealed so far? based on that set, I'd probably say June. I mean, I'm excited to play as June and define him or her to be the player that I want to be in the game.
You don't want to be a Crown Celestial? The Crown Celestials can, like, literally, they're so smart and they live so long, and they can do everything that June can do, and they have the ability to install riders in their brains, so they don't have to, if they're in a difficult situation, they can give themselves a personality that'll perfectly match it. I'm thinking of all the uses for that.
What?
That'd be a Crown Celestial. But I wouldn't do the whole mind line thing, because that would feel like I was murdering my child. So I would just let myself die. I can't remember how long they live.
I like.
Oh my God! What did they like pass their consciousness down into their kids? That's pretty messed up.
Over the airs, though, that's super cool.
Oh yeah, that was pretty brutal. If you, again, reading the book, it involves a unicorn and lots of gore. So, anyways.
All right. So that's a Q&A. And that's, I think, somewhat of a look into this game. We'll keep touching on it, I would say, like once a month or two. As it starts to pick up, we'll probably start talking more and more about how this ends up going. But we got our eye on it. We'll see where it goes. It is connected to Wizards of the Coast, which is Hasbro, I think. Which is just weird. It's a strange connection. Need them to add a Mass Effect 3 fork. Oh man, yeah. I'm really hopeful for Mass Effect, whatever comes up after like whatever the next game is for Mass Effect from BioWare, but what are the chances that it's, able to capture what it did before? Wonder if CIG could do the same, hire novelists to write insane lore and stories that could roll back into the game. They don't even need to get novelists. We got plenty of great people in the community writing good stuff too. Probably how they can switch personalities is adapting the personality of one of their past lives. Oh. When people are allowed to just come up with technology, we sure do come up with some strange stuff. All right. Let's talk about No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is probably the most popular of all of the games that we're looking at today. It's a freaking monument to the industry, and it puts everybody else on blast, that's for sure. I don't even know how they're still developing this so consistently. I mean, I guess it's because they're developing Light No Fire, and they're just passing the stuff that they make for that back into No Man's Sky. And I think they even say that here at some point. But it's still just impressive that they're all coming out free and they're just continuously running off the sales of the game. Well, unless somebody knows otherwise, and maybe they're running off of something else. No Man's Sky is a game that we genuinely, truly love. Last year we released Worlds Part 1, which was a big surprise when it came out, and I remember thinking at the time that this is just the beginning. We can't wait to show people what we've been working on. There's new solar systems, new planets with more variety, new terrain types, even new gas giants, and of course new adventures. Our new update is called Worlds Part 2, and the full patch notes are available here. So we're gonna just go through a quick look at this and then click on the deep dive and watch that. No Man's Sky is not for everybody. This game has a different approach to things than some of the other ones we've looked at today. Obviously the graphics are much different, but it offers a great opportunity for people who like space games to jump in and waste some time, just sink time into an environment where it's not as high stakes and you can be completely alone, or you can find some friends to play with. I think the main big things they added here, it's just like the name implies, they're just updating their worlds a lot. So they say they're extremely busy on Light No Fire. Each time we push our engine to new places, we have to urge this to share this to the community. So yeah, they're just adding in the things they're learning from developing their new game, which is probably a really great way to operate. Gas giants are epic, 10 times bigger than biggest planets, and truly endgame stuff. Although the gas giants do have surfaces, so I guess they don't have that much pressure. New tech allows oceans that can be several kilometers deep. A new lighting system that makes them look so different. New caustics light shafts, deeper that you explore, the darker it gets. Freaking, like, what is even in seas in this game? That's crazy. Every element of our lighting has been rewritten, shadows more detailed, light flickers through the leaves, caves are dark and immersive, oceans now reflect the clouds and stars to create those beautiful sunsets. Water reacts physically to the world around it, creatures wade through it, there's little dimples in the rain, there are large waves as ships fly overhead. Sometimes there's these moments where a ship just flies past the still ocean and the water ripples underneath, and it's just so peaceful to watch. This is a big graphics overhaul. They're getting this ready to start adding some more functionality, hopefully. Maybe. In the depths of the ocean and on land, there's these new creatures to discover. Think we've gone probably weirder than ever before. When you land on a planet, all the tech combines to create an emotion, that feeling of knowing that no one has ever been on this world before. That is a pretty cool one. I like that about both Elite and No Man's Sky. Unique resources? Oh, you can build underwater bases. That's right. I forget about that. Freaking fantastic. All right, let's jump into the deep dive.
Last year, we released Worlds Part 1, and it was just the beginning. We can't wait to show people what we've been working on. New solar systems, new planets, new terrain, new adventures. No Man's Sky is a game that we all truly love.
I think the one thing this game's missing for me is that middle class of ship between carriers and these like single seat ships, like a 3 to 4 person ship that I can get on with my friends and go places together. Hey, if I'm playing a game like this where there is a possibility of other players being there, I would love to be able to group up with them to do stuff.
Our next update is called Worlds Part 2. Across the universe, we're adding billions of new solar systems and trillions of new planets.
Okay, how much does that impress everybody? Like, how excited does it get you to hear we're adding billions of solar systems and trillions of planets? I can't even fathom that. I don't even know what a trillion looks like. I do appreciate the diversity and the ability to discover and explore in this game, but I think players in general at this point have grown pretty just tired of size and wanting to hear more of the details of why that size is necessary. I think No Man's Sky has one of the best excuses for adding size, for sure. I just don't think that really gets that exciting for people anymore, especially after 9 years of the game already having billions of planets.
It allows us to push the boundaries of our engine with new technology. Introducing new biomes and terrains.
They're freaking beautiful planets, though. These planets look so much better than they used to when this game first came out.
It's now so far beyond what we ever thought was possible when we started out. I've been working on a new terrain system for a little while now. Terrain is more detailed, far more varied, with huge mountains and these massive features.
You can see their LOD system kicking in there as you scroll away.
Is more detailed, far more.
There's a first LOD.
Varied, with.
There's a second LOD.
Huge mountains.
And then the third one.
And these
and the fourth one.
Features. I'm genuinely at my happiest working on this stuff. The team is... we're extremely busy on Light No Fire. Each time we push our engine to new places, though, we have this urge to share it with the community, with No Man's Sky. Gas giants are truly epic. 10 times bigger than our biggest planet. It's truly sort of endgame stuff to explore them, with huge storms that rage across the surface. New tech allows oceans that can be several kilometers deep. A new lighting system makes them look so different, with new caustics.
That is freaking beautiful.
And the deeper that you explore, the darker it gets. I've had these moments where you're exploring and suddenly some huge creature comes into view, and it's just incredible. Every element of our lighting has been rewritten. Shadows show more details, light flickers through the leaves. Caves they're dark and immersive. Oceans now reflect the clouds and stars to create these beautiful sunsets and night skies. Water reacts physically to the world around it. Creatures wade through it. There's little dipples in the rain. There's large waves as ships fly overhead. Sometimes there's these moments where a ship...
Did they just text to speech or speech to text his what he's saying here?
Flies past the still ocean and water ripples underneath, and it's just so peaceful to watch. In the depths of the ocean and on land, there's these new creatures to discover. I think we've gone probably weirder than ever before. When you land on a planet, all the tech, it combines to create an emotion. That feeling of knowing that no one has ever been on this world before. I think it's what makes this game really special. There's tons of new gameplay too. There's this huge quest that ties together some strands that we've been building for years. We've got an expedition that takes you on a tour of all the new worlds that we're building. And it's got some incredible rewards. This is the 9th year since release, and I think we're probably doing things the community never thought would happen. I honestly can't wait for people to play.
So No Man's Sky is very much going through like a graphics and overall visuals overhaul right now. I'm assuming that they're going to continue on with their feature work after that, because they are still working on their game engine and bringing in new stuff. But the things that's missing from No Man's Sky for me is I think it's just kind of a lot of stuff. Well, I'm missing stuff from X4 and Elite Dangerous. It's like both ways. On the single player side, I wish No Man's Sky had a little bit more going on in terms of like the connection between locations, larger points of interest, cities, and really populous space stations that need like cargo routes run, that kind of thing. On the multiplayer side of things, like I said, I would love to be able to join other people in their ship, or at least do more gameplay that feels like it is meant for groups of people. I know that some of the missions in the fleets feel that way, but I would love to see more of a multiplayer focus. And I know that's something that they're kind of like they're using, but they don't want to lean too much into it because that starts to complicate the game a lot more. But like Elite Dangerous, you know, No Man's Sky is, I think, a great game to play if you want to explore and see new things and find something that nobody else has ever found. But this is definitely more of an overhaul, a looks kind of thing. They're doing things you never expected them to do. They are, dude, it's incredible that they're still running this game and that they're doing it the way that they have. I'm looking forward to years more of Hello Games because the company itself is just the absolute kind of game company we want on the market. It isn't that type of game. No fucking way. Was there a code for the Mirai giveaway? Yes. Gardener is the code. All right, there was one more game I wanted to go over before we moved on. Jump Ship. This game looks freaking sick. I'm very excited for this. A solid gameplay or solid multiplayer focused sort of game. Let me pull up the game trailer. Oh, they've got gameplay already on YouTube. We could check it out. Instead of me continuously explaining how this game works, I'll just let you see it. Just know that this is like co-op jump in, jump out space adventures with your friends, which sounds pretty sick to me.
How Jump Ship plays. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Okay, I'm gonna check how we're doing. The sensors are picking up a bunch.
I detect a jamming signal emanating in the area. We can't leave until it's been taken
Got some
offline.
controlling ships. It looks more than we can handle. Sentries blocking one of the cave entrances.
Even more ships.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of ships. But there seems to be...
I think we can go left here, right?
Yeah, that should be okay. There seems to be some sort of wreckage with valuables. We should go for that one, see if we can get there without them seeing.
Sounds good. Like, the ships are flying right above us.
Yeah, just be careful.
I'm gonna hug the ground here. I think we're pretty safe in these caves here.
Yeah.
Seems safe.
Dude, you can like see when you're flying the ship and it goes to the third person view. Like give you a really clear look of where your players are on the ship. And with EVA on the ship, I would be super interested in knowing if there is any sort of FPS or combat kind of stuff that takes place around the ship, like in space.
We're pretty safe in these caves here.
Yeah.
Seems safe.
Yeah, it looks like it if you keep to the left.
Yeah. Alright. I think we should...
I can see you guys on the hull. Hello.
Yeah. Alright, we should be coming up to a wreck up here.
Yeah, I guess let's gear up.
This one wreck on the right here, right?
That's correct.
I see some nice wreck.
We're alright, I parked the ship. I think we can go out.
Alright,
Can
get some gear, getting some ammo. Okay, I'm ready to go.
My SMG.
In here. We think we'd need some ammo.
Full ship interiors.
Yeah, I'm full of
Honestly, it looks customizable to me. These look like modules.
I'll bring the ammo box just in case.
Yeah, and I'll grab the Medimate.
I have one as well.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool. Okay, cool. Let's go.
Like we're quite
So
ready.
it sounds like you don't have classes. You just add your equipment that you want to play as.
I'll bring the ammo box just in case.
Yeah, and I'll grab the Medimate.
I have one as well.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool. Okay, cool.
But I'm
Let's go.
betting there are like skills you can unlock, like Deep Rock Galactic.
So close, yes.
Bad attitude. Alright, dropping now.
Let's go.
Alright, here we go.
Read.
Oh, this game looks good, dude.
Oh, drone already. I see an enemy.
Here.
Yeah.
That means there is some valuables. They must be protecting something.
Here's like a bunch of containers over here. Oh, reloading. Thank you.
Right?
See a container here?
We're pretty good. I don't think we have any other hostiles here.
Yeah, it looks
There's a shotgun over here. I don't feel like we need it.
I found a dead guy.
Oh no.
Poor guy, looks like me.
Maybe it was.
Alright, I can hear them.
Yeah.
Enemies.
Drones. SMG.
Okay, well let's head back to the ship.
Right.
Yeah, looks like there wasn't much here.
Ship's above us. I can see their shadows.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Ooh, hope they don't see us.
If they knew we were down here, we'd be so dead.
Right.
Would you be?
Let's get out of here.
I'm curious though. Would you be? Are they throwing some flavor talk in here to just make it feel like it's exciting and dangerous, or can those ships actually come down and engage? I don't see any reason for them not to if their spaceship's down here.
See if we can land on the ship.
Hello.
Not a problem. Right, we're coming up to the objective here.
Yep.
Okay, preparing par.
This is totally Star Citizen, dude. They're on Daymar.
We're landing. Check your weapons and equipment.
Check ammo.
Yep. I'm stocked up.
Right behind you now, so don't close the door.
Alright.
Wow.
The tables have turned.
I can't believe it.
Welcome in.
Sneaky.
Okay. Everybody's game? Yep.
You gotta close the doors, guys. Somebody's gonna get home.
Hope you got your equipment with you.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Looks like a deserted base.
Attention. This facility appears to be evacuated. I advise you to exercise caution.
Okay, let's look around for loot first. Maybe there are enemies around.
The jamming device is
We
behind
got
this
some
gate.
weapons here.
You need to perform a security protocol override to open it.
The guns have the most generic look I think I've seen in a space game.
I found a medimate.
Nice. That will come in handy soon.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Hostile entities detected. Hold your position. Override is now in progress.
Okay, I'm gonna deploy a medimate. No, sorry, I got the ammo.
So it's you put on a timer and you need to hold off the weapons on that timer. Ooh, hi, you brought pizza? Thank you. We got pizza. Pretty standard mission.
Seems fine so far.
Got some enemies coming.
Never mind.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice. Gonna deploy my medimate.
Right, coming on with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it inside here.
Right.
Deployed.
I'm getting overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Warning. System malfunction identified.
something, bro.
Manual override is
I'm
required.
coming.
Oh, yeah, it requires another player.
If you need.
Yeah, I believe the landing was a predetermined spot.
Yeah, I need help. They keep shooting at me.
Yeah.
Oh, something broke again.
I'm on it.
Okay, go, go, go.
Cover me.
We're covering.
Yeah, I'm covering.
Okay, I got it.
Nice. Oh, there's a spider bomb.
Yeah, we got a spider.
Watch out, careful.
Close to it. Oh no.
Oh, coming to the cabin.
Oh, I'm down.
Oh, dear.
Missing a medimate.
Okay, we're
Trying
covering
to revive you.
Yeah.
Perform manual override to
God, I see
resume.
the grenades. There are enemies everywhere.
Yeah,
Reviving,
I'm helping
reviving.
out.
Gotcha. A grenade, spider bomb.
Thank you.
Oh, we got
How are
spider
you
bomb.
guys doing?
The spider is going down. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's a whole wall of enemies here. Oh, dear.
Manual override is required.
Okay, I'm overriding.
Alright, good.
Access granted. Proceed to the
Oh,
jamming.
yeah, we did it.
Door open.
Okay, we just need to clear it up.
Yeah.
It really has. I think if they were going to show the gameplay for this game, this wouldn't have been what I would have shown. Because this video gives me the idea of co-op, 4-person shooter with a space theme. This doesn't exactly make me think co-op space-based shooter. I feel like maybe they should have shown us something related to a space station. Otherwise, this looks like a mission that I could have run on like Apex Legends, kind of. I know they don't have those, but you get what I mean.
SMG. The big find rocket launchers.
Like it actually felt like Deep Rock Galactic, but in a different environment. But Deep Rock Galactic has a lot of unique gameplay in how you dig, how you light the world up, that kind of thing. I think they need to show more unique, engaging characteristics of this game to convince people to look into it long term. Because right now it looks like fun popcorn game.
Don't blow us up with a rocket launcher, though.
Still waiting for a hook.
All together.
Yeah. They haven't seen us yet, which is nice.
Oh.
Oh,
You
should have
jinxed it.
said that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm firing my rocket launcher. I got lock.
All right.
I'm going back to the ship.
Yeah, I'm rushing back to the ship.
Boom! Got one.
I saw that. Good job.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh my god. Another rocket fired?
I hear fire. We got fire.
Fires everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so your spaceship is part of the game.
Yeah. I'm in the pilot seat now. Everyone's aboard?
I'm aboard.
Yep.
You guys ready?
Let's see how escaping looks.
Yeah.
Oh, you could stand on the outside of the ship.
Let's see, I'm getting locked.
Oh, nice.
That was a hit. Oh, geez, like stuff flying everywhere. My God.
Okay, this makes more fun.
Oh, the ships are right above us. Oh my God.
Yeah,
that flew right past me.
The adventure continues for our heroes, but this is where we have to leave them. I hope you like what you saw. Can't wait to show you more.
I think so. They did not choose to show the act of getting in or out of that session, and it might be because it's just as simple as picking something off a list, and they don't want to really break that immersion. But from what we've seen here so far, it looks like an interesting game. But I don't know if it looks like a winner. And I don't mean that to say it won't succeed. I more mean like keeping the space game community's attention. Where does it have a release date? Sea of Thieves formula. Void Crew started early access, but honestly thought the skeleton of it was pretty bad. Sea of Thieves style kind of vibe. Yeah, I could see that. Just says 2025 for release date, so we don't know when it'll be. Coming soon to early access. So when it releases, it is probably going to be in early access anyways. Missing some gravitas. We'll see. We'll see. It's a first attempt. It must have been a lot of work to put together. So I'm not going to like ding them for graphics or anything. I do think that the design of stuff in the game could be more inspired. It does feel a little bit generic in ways. I'm more interested in seeing what they do with the space gameplay, though. Interesting that they didn't show us that. If it wasn't Star Citizen, what other space games do you think you would play? A lot of the ones we looked at today. Elite Dangerous, No Man's Sky, X4. I probably would, I play a lot of like RPGs, action adventure games, stuff like that. Whoa! Oh my God. The grappling hook? What about the grappling hook? Love how critical Space Tomato is of every other game, but he always has the sword and shield ready when someone critiques Star Citizen. Okay. Yeah, Distro, you should go to bed. Or better yet, Destroy. I'll try not to say anything bad about any other games either. How about that? How about we just agree that I can't ever criticize anything at all. All right. So No Man's Sky, Jump Ship, Elite Dangerous, X4. You know what I didn't touch on? Hold on. There's one more that we haven't really gotten to see in a while, and I don't know what's going on with it. Falling Frontier was announced a while ago, and I thought it was supposed to come out in, I think, 23. Yeah, but it ended up getting delayed. It's made by like one person, so it's taking a lot of it's very difficult to make. I mean, let me show you guys some gameplay of this because it's actually really freaking cool. This is for people who like real-time strategy games, so it's a little bit of a different type of space game than we normally are watching. It gives me kind of Expanse vibes if it was a real-time strategy. Really freaking cool. I'll give you a couple looks at the vibes of it here, and then we'll talk about it.
Link established. Sending packet now.
The Hannibal reports action over Iapetus.
It confirms the regiment was destroyed. Is requesting permission to pursue the Caligula. Radar requesting landing position. Ground crews prepare base 2, 7 and 9 to receive ships. Delta Tower, this is Baker. Confirm received. Code dispatch. Filling injection and defib completed. Moving out to 7. Go 412 starting well.
Okay, so I haven't checked in on this in a while, but I can already tell you looking at this video that they have expanded this project a lot. This looks way higher budget than when I first saw this. Wow. I wonder why they went with that. Let's see where it goes from here. Okay, here's the game part. This is called Falling Frontier, by the way. So like I said, real-time strategy game on a planetary scale. So you're doing a lot of space travel, battles, and things like that in orbit.
Materials are being offloaded and prepped for distribution.
You're going to be around asteroids, you're going to be around space stations, you're going to be in debris fields, and the really cool part about this is everything that you see is physicalized. So if you're fighting somebody in an asteroid belt, you have to account for the asteroids. You have to, when you're taking your shots, you need to see, is there an asteroid in the way between you and your target? If there is, you need to move out from behind it. Is one of your ships on the other side of your target? If you miss, your shot might hit them. So it's very physicalized. It's very focused on making sure you're taking the time to do the things you need to do to make space, flight, and travel work. Another one of those kinds of details is when you lose a ship in this game and you're in a battle, that ship will send out escape pods, and it's on you to send another ship out to go get those escape pods, rescue your crew, and keep your resources topped up in that way. So it's very much a grounded, do not just fire and forget kind of game. This is a pay attention to what you're doing, the small things matter kind of RTS, and it has this super kinetic vibe to it. I love it. The close-ups were all cutscenes. This is the game.
Naval ops ready. Roger that, be online.
So obviously you have to build and select your ships. Custom templates for different types of ships if you'd like. Very reminiscent of games like Stellaris. Level Cap is making kind of a game, but he like this, but his is more an RPG and an exploration game, while this is more an RTS strategy. Let's jump forward to what the strategy actually looks like. So the game is living in space and controlling your empire, but it is also taking territory and fighting battles. You see it plays out on a much bigger scale than just a small planet or something like that. And this is where I think it's just, oh my God.
Colony comms synced and secure. Supply destination coming online.
Supply destination coming online.
Mining operation is at 20% capacity.
I love those transitions from the UI into the, dude.
Ship locked in for conduit travel.
One more time, please. Dude, get the f out of here. Oh my God. Like, this dude knew. This dude freaking knew what he was doing with this, right? Not only does it look amazing, the implications of running a battle across an entire star system and sending people jumping across that system to different battles that you're controlling. This is like a mixture of an RTS and a 4X game. It's almost like if you were to just like take Stellaris and shrink it down to a single system. Yeah, I need the where is it? Where's the wheezing? So good. I would have watched this again. Holy crap. So I think they're just setting a patrol route with their combat unit around their mining unit. Yeah, which is collecting resources. So it's just like an RTS, but it's themed around deep space, which I just love. And it looks beautiful. What the hell, man?
Mining operation is now at 30%. Colony routing here. Probe bays online. Bringing possible targets online now. There's action over a nearby colony in the sector.
This game has one of the most interesting UIs I've ever seen.
Solid copy. I'm patching in with the task force in the AO. We'll provide updates to the sector as priority.
So this looks like it's setting up for deep space exploration. You're sending a probe out to a certain location. That probe has to abide by the gravity well of the sun, and you can set it for a certain range. Takes a certain time to get out there with its burn time here, you can see. And I'm guessing this determines detection amongst enemies, so you have some level of cat and mouse that you have to play. Game's not out yet. Still in the works.
Calculating celestial path.
Oh my god! I can't get over that! I cannot, guys. I can't get over these transitions. I love them.
Path locked in, probe en route.
Oof! Yikes! Oh, nice. Splashed. Oh, they're trying to ram. You can bombard the world.
Surface targets locked in, missiles away.
Oh, you can just planetary bombard. Dude, I'ma be a Hurston. Bro. What?
This is Gulliver Base. Permission granted. Berwick-class frigate Certis and Coventry-class frigate Karatha have been dispatched to assist. Rendezvous coordinates to follow in data packet. Good hunting. Out.
Gulliver Base, this is the Hannibal. Rendezvous coordinates received. Can you confirm FTL approval is granted? Over.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy this. Like, I don't really play real-time strategy games that much anymore. I mostly play 4X, but I'm gonna buy this. Oh my gosh. I mean, I hope that the gameplay works out exactly how they want. It's been a rough ride. It's taken a little while, but the game itself is just, even from when I first started, it looked beautiful. The reason I first was interested in this is because the design is just so much different from anything I've seen, and it's just such a different take on RTS. But since then, it's gotten so much bigger and better. So I'm interested in seeing where it goes. Ender's Game style battle. Good afternoon, Rugged Nerd. How you doing? Good to see you. Those transitions do so much for creating a sense of scale. The whole thing, including the sound design, is a masterpiece. It really is. That game's a joy to watch. Is that the game from Level Cap? He used to cover SC a lot. Level Cap did talk about an own game like this. He still covers SC to some extent. He's working on a game right now that's more of like an RPG rather than this being more like an RTS, but it is a space-based game with ships flying around like that. I have not played Homeworld 1 or 2. I was actually going to try out Homeworld 3, and then it came out, and I was like, wasn't this supposed to be better? I've heard very good things about the Homeworld games, though. Maybe I should check it out, because from what I'm hearing, it plays a lot like this. Yeah, that's what I heard. That's about it for me today, I think. Any questions in chat? Any highlights? Any other space games that you guys are really looking forward to that I maybe missed today? Try Nexus, the Jupiter Incident. Nexus, the Jupiter Incident. Did you mention that earlier while we were watching this gameplay? Is there a trailer for it? Oh, of course there's a Scott Manley video. The first Homeworld. See, but here's the thing, guys. I do kind of struggle with old games. Not gonna lie. Part of what I loved about Falling Frontier is the look of it. Look and feel. Oh, that's a cool ship, though. The Jupiter Incident. So are you moving your fleet or one ship at a time? Okay, that's definitely a fleet. Yeah, I can see how this plays like Falling Frontier. It's crazy how like these games just slip by and you don't know they exist. Your tactical wizardry. What's my take on Eve? I love telling the story of how I started playing Eve in 2008 and then I quit because I thought I was too late. And and then freaking like 16 years later, it's still kicking, it's still going. Yeah, Eve is pretty cool. I think it's a sick game, but I am very much the kind of person who likes to run around on their own 2 feet. Like I said, I'm not really playing RTS that much anymore. Even Falling Frontier is, I think, as far into that genre as I'm going at this point, because I'm really into the immersion of games now. I don't need them to be exciting. I don't need to be running Halo multiplayer every day, racking up 20 kills on 3 deaths. Not to brag, but I'm more into gaming now for story, immersion, and just like satisfying functionality, you know? So Elite Dangerous is pretty cool when it comes to economic and spreadsheet simulations, but it's a little bit thick in the skin for me. What is StarCraft? Spacecraft, sorry. I know StarCraft. Spacecraft, another SC space game. How crazy is that? Oh, right. This is the, isn't this a crypto project or something? I watched this, I've watched this video. But I don't remember what was it about this one. Let me see. Let's see.
On that day, everything was taken from us. So many lost. So much effort in vain. All we had built.
Ooh, that sucks.
Faded away.
Why did everything else stop but that nut?
The destruction.
Is nut the only thing with physics?
And alone.
Hard Space Shipbreaker. Oh, that's an amazing game, dude. Amazing game.
Now, together, we're discovering new horizons. Every foundation laid. Every spark ignited.
Right. This is the game that looks kind of like Space Engineers.
Our journey led us to these stars. And from the fragments of the past, we will forge a better, brighter tomorrow.
A better, brighter tomorrow.
Brighter tomorrow.
So I don't really know what that means, to be honest. It looks like a base building game, right? Like you, hold on. Design and engineer your own spacecraft, extract and exploit resources, automate bases and interplanetary logistics. Yeah, it sounds like Space Engineers, right? Space Engineers for a better and brighter tomorrow. Spacecraft. Oh. I just looked at the Wikipedia page for what is a spacecraft. Let's see. So this was announced in December. Independent video game development studio based in Bordeaux, France. Explore the galaxy, combat and shape the galaxy, automate and expand. So are you like combining Space Engineers to Satisfactory? Because if you did, that would be incredible. That would be fucking phenomenal. I don't know where I got that this was like a crypto game or anything like that. I swear there was something in the comments, but look at me spreading misinformation. Let's see. Looks ambitious, beyond planet footage, freelancer, well-built bolts. What we're looking at. Yeah, so nobody really knows exactly what's going on, but if they can get a good space-based building game, I'm all here for it. I'm down for more of those. That sounds like good times. Verse Project. I haven't seen, like, we don't see any gameplay from that whatsoever. So not really sure what to think of it, but we'll keep an eye on it too. Yeah, definitely worth considering. All right, Verse Project. We just talked about this one last week. I saw somebody bring it up, so we can check in on this too, just to make sure we didn't miss anything. This one is sounding very, very similar to Star Citizen, actually, in their setup and the things that they're trying to do. But it's more like Star Citizen mixed with maybe The Expanse, like trying to do a little bit more of a small scale version. Still the interactive vehicles, the the power systems, the resource management, the base building, the exploration, all that kind of stuff is still involved, but in a different kind of environment. And they've got a really good roadmap for this one. Well, a really interesting roadmap. It looks really cool. Showing that they have got habs and hangars completed. The flight is working, and they are working on their orbital flight. So right now, they're still building out the base mechanics. Of course, it's a pretty new project, but they've made some decent progress on getting something playable onto the interwebs. And when their small step update comes out, I think was our plan. I wanted to wait until, no, here it is. The exploration experience. Once they have surface POIs and we can land on a planet, I'm going to jump into this and we'll take a look at it and see what we can do. But it looks like a really interesting game. Exploration is being worked on. Resources and money is coming later. Vehicle turrets and vehicle equipment. They're working on shipwreck extracting, player security, surface settlements, so POIs on the planet's surface. You got AI systems, mission systems, and mercenary stuff. World progression, so the ability to actually do something. Earth, Mars, Venus, and Mercury orbits. So they're working on the not the Milky Way, sorry, our solar system. And that's why it's a little bit smaller on scale. Now, I have no idea how this is going to go. This is a new studio. It's a new project. It's an ambitious project, that's for sure. But we're pretty used to that, so we'll keep an eye on it. They haven't updated anything since December. But I'm gonna keep a watch and I'll let you know how this is going. And I think it'll be another one that's interesting for us to follow. What you're learning here is that the space genre is still very healthy with lots of choices, a great little tour outside the SC bubble. That was my goal with this. I mainly want to try and keep regular updates on what's going on with space games in general. I don't know of any, like, there are podcasts that do that and there are videos that come out like that, but deep dives that kind of give an overall update on space games in the industry. I wanted to start to provide that for you guys. So every once in a while when we do these Monday updates, I'll take some time to step away from just one or two games and we'll go through a lot of them and see what's going on with them. I think it's probably a quarterly thing because generally the updates aren't coming that often. But overall, I'm just excited to see all these space games, man. I know I might be positive about some games more than others, but it doesn't really fucking matter because everybody likes what they like. And just the fact that we have this many games to choose from, whether you like one style of play or another, there are a lot of really great ways to experience space coming into the game industry. Definitely unlike last decade. I mean, last decade we had some good hits, some of them still surviving, like No Man's Sky and Elite Dangerous. But this decade, it feels like there is significantly more excitement, more anticipation, more interest in sci-fi and space video games. And it's been a while coming. Spacecraft looks like a mix of Unreal on Satisfactory and Red Engine on Cyberpunk. Too bad Cyberpunk's ditching Red. You have to play off your SC spend before you buy anything else. $3, $15 per month. You can try these others in 16.7 years. Hey man, we've done a good job funding Star Citizen, I think. Try something else on. At the same time, of course. One cool thing is how all of these are new IPs and not just installments of big franchises. You know what? You're right about that. That reminds me of the one that I did miss here. Oh, almost just went to our private server. Space Engineers 2. It just released into, I think, early access last week or 2 weeks ago. This is also a really popular one and one that I think a lot of people could find interest in. It is one of the OG space MMOs, I would say. Not that it came early on, just that it like really helped to set the stage for what a space MMO could be. It's mostly about building, but I hear they're adding some narrative stuff into this gameplay. Let's take a little look at what is involved in this gameplay. I'll just jump to some random part here.
But I can pick again blue. And now when I press the middle mouse button, it will replace only this one.
It's still pretty bare bones. Is it worse than the previous game right now?
Classic red, blue, for example.
But if I hold the button for 3 seconds,
countdown there, and this is, I know this will be improved, right?
It will replace the entire grid, so it looks like this.
Yeah, so it's quite good if you want to have the base color reset to a certain color and then add the detailing.
Yeah, another cool feature is the voxel hand. So we have very nice place. Actually, I can maybe walk there.
Oh yeah, this is so seeing some of the new station here.
Yeah, and this is the voxel hand. You can see. But
graphics are looking better. That's good.
The lighting as well is this.
So I will just make some hole.
Yeah, the graphics look much better.
And there we go, just seeing the sun.
Wow.
Piercing through there.
And you can just make an asteroid space station. See now we're talking.
I have to read out some of these comments, Marek. Subaru says, loving the sounds of the engineered landing. Sounds heavy and meaty.
Yes,
yeah.
That was the
very clunky landing.
But this looks so good though. You will really see when you're in certain locations.
Oh my god.
Are like on another level here, and you can also see the tessellation.
Yes. Dude, this looks awesome.
Yeah, the details on the rocks, stones. Yeah.
I'll say this: the graphics are looking better. They're still not like to the point where I'm like, yes, I really want to play this. Because again, I'm sorry, but I do depend on some good graphics to keep me immersed. But the sound design looks cool. Freaking flying around spaceships and building space stations with your friends sounds really freaking sick. This looks cool. I might consider jumping into this as well.
So, jetpack. That was very important for me. So we have a jetpack, basically 2 modes. One is, we call it precision, so it's up to 20 meters per second. And it has like quite decent acceleration. And it's good for this kind of like a precision, flight.
20 meters per second is wonderful.
But if you want to fly far, you press shift and you go to boost mode.
And you can actually hear, if I turn up at it,
you
can actually hear it.
Yep.
Wait, look at how fast you can EVA.
And it goes orange.
He's going like 400 kilometers per hour. Dude, that's...
that was another thing, the animations, right?
Yes.
As we're seeing as you're landing, this was a big thing for you, and it's way more satisfying now.
Yeah. Sometimes I just like fly around and just jump and land and jump and land.
Yeah.
But actually, what I also enjoy doing is just. Sometimes I'm just doing this.
Just walking around.
I like that this also shows your absolute speed no matter what. If you're jumping, falling, thrusting, or running, it always shows how fast you're going.
In circles.
Yeah, I love it. It's just so good.
You definitely hear when someone's coming, Yeah.
Let me show you the Mac boots. They're really amazing now because we added camera stabilization. So.
Oh, Marek, one quick thing for the players. Could you go to the settings? We have the speed down here, right? Can you just go to the settings and change it from kilometers per hour to, because we can change it to meters per second, which you guys are familiar with in SE1, kilometers or miles per hour for.
That's for you.
Yeah, I've kind of moved past Imperial, but I think some of our US friends will. I mean, even though I know a lot of space is still done in metric, but still, you have that option now. And this is just to show that you can go up to 300 meters per second as well. It's just easier to see that quickly.
So these are the new Mac boots.
Dude, this is so cool.
It's smoothed out.
Absolutely.
It's like much. So it's very smooth now. Okay. USA. This game just got even more freedom, Marek. So much smoother. Yeah. Honestly, guys, I'm gonna have to rewatch the stream just to read the chat. Like, it's great reading the comments. It's so hard, but there's so much going on. But thank you for being here for this. This is great.
So again, let me show you the.
So anybody who plays Space Marine or Space Engineers, how are you making money? So I'm assuming you have to make money to build stuff, right? So are you going and running missions? Are you following a narrative? Are you mining and collecting resources and selling it to players? Is it all player economy? What is the core loop of this game?
G-screen.
The G-screen. So we have all these blocks, new categories, toolbar, of course. You have.
Oh, you just mine and build.
Toolbars that you can switch to.
Is there an economy?
Yeah.
Very similar to SE1, but we try to simplify things.
It's like Minecraft in space.
And yeah, let's go to the mining ship.
Yep.
Okay. Little game generator bases for missions. Cool. So this game is solely focused on encouraging people to build. Is like.
So we have the mining ship here. By the way, when you press the tilde button,
extract resources and then use them to make things.
From the toolbar, and then tilde again and returns.
Just like a true space sandbox.
All right. What I was doing, I wanted to just again, just coming back to how intuitive the contextual hints, right? You see this, it's way better now for like knowing what to press and what something does. You have these contextual tooltips coming up.
Whoa!
So the new, these new drills.
Bro!
That sound.
Oh my God!
I'm the sound sometimes, guys, so you can hear it in all its glory.
Yeah, and for those players who want to see the controls,
that is one of the cooler styles of mining I've seen in a space game. Just freaking demolish the asteroid. That's what I want to see us do with the Orion in Star Citizen.
It's actually also available here, help screen, and you can see welcome from me.
Yeah.
But also you can see controls and advanced controls.
They're hoping to have
this looks like
a real economy with NPCs in 2 years. That'll be cool.
What we try to do is that for the beginning, like it's enough to know just something, and then incrementally learn more and more and more. So like we don't want to overwhelm players with, like I would never, for example, show this to a new player, because it will just confuse them. Yeah.
Can you, Marek? Can you show the drills themselves when you get out next, just to show the how they look? Players were asking. There we go.
Nice.
Also meaty. A lot of meaty.
It's got a very grounded design to it too.
Space Engineers 2 is
meteor.
It is, but it's also really reimagining what was our founding vision for Space One.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Dude, I love it. I love it. All right, y'all. I think this was a pretty good look at space games in general, and where they're going and what's going on with them. We got a healthy freaking industry right now, guys. It's exciting, and we know there are other games coming. We didn't even look at Outer Worlds 2. We know that there's another Star Wars game in the works. I think there are a couple other projects that have not really been confirmed what might be happening. Just in general, it's an exciting time to be a space game person. A 40K trailer? I guess 40K is kind of like space games, right? Yeah, we can check out 40K real quick. Is there like a new trailer for it or something? Astartes 2? Oh, he's making another one? Hey, didn't the guy who made Astartes work on their secret level video? They hired him for that, right? I'm guessing it's this video that you're talking about. Seems there's no difference between Space Engineers and 2 except for graphics and physics, but the real test is if they fix the jank in multiplayer. Interesting. Okay. Well, I look forward to hearing if SC1 players feel that's the case. No multiplayer yet. Oh, ouch. Oh, Empyrean is one that I didn't get to hit. That's actually an oldie but a goodie. I think Empyrean definitely needs a graphics update though. But this is an interesting survival space game if you want to give that a go. I like that one too. Kai, did I react to this? Oh, I bet. Oh, I bet. Let's see what it looks like. I know almost nothing about the Warhammer universe, so because I know nothing about the Warhammer universe, my reaction to this might be either very satisfying or disappointing. Let's see. Ooh. I do like pretty guns. And that's a pretty looking gun. I also like skulls and hands. This is good. I'm getting good messaging from these people, like they're meant to do good things for the universe. Fire. Fire is also very good. Okay. All right. Jesus. Lots of punching too then, huh? Honestly, the sound design in this is incredible. Is that Hoth? Dude, I have no freaking clue what I'm looking at, but it's all very intense and large. Large guns, okay. See, now these are certified large bullets. I'm interested. Whoa! Okay, I'm like StarCraft? A little bit? Oh! I love swords that move too. So I get the idea that, see, I'm on the peripheral of 40K stuff. I don't follow this very much. These dudes are like good and bad. Yeah? These are like your standard, hey, we're going to protect you, but also I'm going to stick my moving sword into your gut if you get in our way. Hey, if you make us angry, I'm just going to pick you up by your head. And I don't know what the next step is here. It does not look good for this person, though. Like, all the scenes where I'm seeing these dudes and just like, capes? I don't know. Capes sometimes not so great. Capes with skulls on them, maybe that's fucking bad. So, if you're human and loyal, they're great. Okay. Loyal is a word. Basically, survival in space. You make money, but you can craft it. Oh, that's space engineers. Do look a lot like the StarCraft Marines. Very grim dark. Also, these little runny boys remind me of Zerglings. It all gives me very very dark, far future but near future kind of universe. See, sprinty boys. Sprinty boys scream to me StarCraft. It's a cool trailer, man. I don't know what it means, but I want to see more of it. This guy particularly, he looks rather angry. They're essentially the same thing, Tyranids and Zerg. I mean, you know, if you run like that. All right, y'all. That's it for me, though. We are bouncing on out of here. Thank you for joining me for this little space game review, looking at what's going on in the genre. It's good times, man. I'm feeling good about it. Like I said, we'll keep doing this throughout the year. I'll probably play some of these games on stream at some point. Definitely have my eye on Elite Dangerous very seriously. And yeah. Any questions before I go? The lore explains how the Space Marines are created, and by that you mean going into detail about the several surgeries and organs and DNA altering. Ah, kind of like our Spartan boys. Homeworld. I will check out Homeworld Remastered. Sounds like that might be a cool option as well. Auntie Edna knew. Yeah, no capes. Capes will get you killed. Who we rating? Oh, you know what? Let's see. Who's I got on? Luke, Detox, Bender, Jake, Tom. I'm gonna send you guys back to some Star Citizen, yeah? Have a good one. I'm gonna send you over to Detox. Keep us up to date on the camera. Brother, working on it. We're working on it. We're trying with the camera and also with the Roadcaster. Hopefully our equipment will be in a better place soon. Thank you everybody for joining me today. I hope you had a wonderful one. Treat yourselves well. Do something you love. Eat something you love. Hang out with somebody you love. You know, just overall, you're good people. Act like it. And I'll see you all on Wednesday for some more gameplay. Bye-bye.